To Death Before Dishonour, Season 6, Qualifier number 3. And my god, it's been a rock and roll affair, and should be pretty good fun to come yet. We have 2 semi-finals, which of course are the standard best of 3 format, and then we have a best of 5 finals as well. And up in game 1, we do have the mighty Krablin up against Energized. Let me have a quick little look to see that's the, sorry, my phone making some noise there. And the second semi-finals is going to be between Tal Kor, making his debut on the channel, and Valkanos, who got to the finals in the last qualifier, which is pretty exciting stuff. So it looks like Energized is going to be going with his favourite Dino boys up against Krablin's Chaos. Very exciting stuff. Here, of course, on Troll Country, which is the typical map we do to start off a stream. And for this first best of 3 series, we are going to be playing on Troll Country, Pillar of Bone, and Northern Chaos Wastes. Now, it looks like we have to wait now. Good to go when you guys are. Stream is running. So how are you guys today? Hope you're all good. I'm quickly going to set up my phone so I can see your glorious faces in chat. Chaos can't wait. Nice, nice. Let's just ready up for when these guys pop in. I'm going to set my phone up quickly so I can actually see you guys. But I hope you have all been enjoying the new DLC which did drop today, as well as the patch and all that good stuff that came with it. Hello, hello, I can see a few of you guys here. If I can just get my phone into position. I've got a cool little stand for it, so I don't have to kind of look down too much. The mighty Black Fawn is here. How's it going, buddy? I am #1 Krablin fan. I love to hear it. That was a Get Up Mule. I think you had a pretty good run, didn't you, in today's tournament? But yes, Kelgar Iron Fist, the true champ, is here as well. Someone I always see dotted around in these streams and the like. So here we are, guys, the beautiful Troll Country, and brings back so many good memories. I'm going to get this underway really quickly, which is good to see. I'm very excited for all of these games. Some veteran players, as well as, actually, I think, to be honest, all the players that can be considered veterans at this point. And, yeah, very good stuff indeed. I've been enjoying the DLC as well in the little bits of spare time I've had today in the background. I'm going to probably be bringing you guys a full tree Vanguard build replay at some point as well, which is very exciting stuff. But both these 2 factions, not too many changes for the Dino Boys and Chaos, but let's hop in here and have a little look at Energized build. So the mighty Energized, a man of the people, trying to win my heart over to perhaps get some favourable decisions pushed his way by bringing my favourite lord in the game, the mighty Krokgar, of course, onto the Grimlock. Coming in with Hand of the Gods, Swiftness of Itzel, Deadly Onslaught, and Sacred Spawning. We have a blessed little skink priest here of Heavens, coming with Curse of the Midnight Wind, as well as Harmonic Convergence. I'm a big fan of Curse of Midnight Wind, think it's a very underrated spell. In the front line, we have a mixture of Temple Guard and Saurus Warriors dotted along. Temple Guard, bad to the bones, Halberd Infantry, and Saurus, just such good value for money as well. We have some little skink cohorts with javelins as well. We're going to be bringing some nice long-range poison damage. We have the Umbral Tide, another favourite unit of mine, Regiment of Renowned Salamanders. We have a Gary with a solar engine, as well as some Cold One Riders. Pretty impressive stuff. Now, for the forces of Chaos, we do have some Chaos Warhounds on the flank who are going to be escorting some throwing axes, it would seem. And that's going to be the same on the other side as well. For the front line, we have the Demon Spew, Regiment of Renowned Forsaken. Always good to see those guys in action. And this is a hardcore build by Krablin. Coming with Mirror Guard and Chosen making up the kind of centre pocket of his force. Then we have some Chaos Warriors and Chosen with great weapons in the secondary line. And we have the new and improved Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. Many of you have kind of speculated his bum has been improved as well in all its glory. But yeah, Prince Sigvald, pretty tough fellow indeed. Now coming in with Stand or Die in a heroic kill and blow, as well as his regenerating armor. He's immune to psychology, is 110 armor, incredibly tanky indeed. Very thematic, rolling with his Mirror Guard. We have a Chaos Sorcerer of Death coming in with Spirit Leech, and is that Doom and Darkness? Let's have a little look. It is indeed Doom and Darkness, and Scroll of Shielding. This is going to be a very fast and furious affair for sure. Good luck, have fun. Cool, cool. And underway we do go. I'll say hi to you guys in a little bit as well. I'm sorry I've ignored you guys a little bit, but that's just because we got underway incredibly quickly here. Solar Engine Blast does come in as well, clipping some Chaos Warriors, but I'm assuming that is going to be switching targets relatively soon. Is the Umbral Tide going to be, unfortunately, a little bit of a Spirit Leech coming down on them, as Chaos Warhounds as well do streak forward to try and shut them down, but Cold One Riders swarming with an interception, crushing some of those Chaos Warhounds under claw there, which is always good to see. And even Krokgar was getting involved as well, but he's now dangerously close to the horseman and needs to pull back because the warhounds with poison can indeed slow him down and allow these other units to come in and start to separate him from his main force, which he definitely wants to be rolling alongside. Skink cohort with javelins should be trying to force out the Marauder horsemen. Looks like they've done some decent damage already. The Temple Guard don't really want to take that damage. We have Chaos Warhounds of Poison as well, who've lapped all the way up around the side. Probably going to be trying to jump on those skinks. The Umbral Tide have managed to escape back behind that glorious Temple Guard line, as the Mirror Guard do engage with Sora's Warriors, picking a good fight for them there. Looks like Kroq-Gar has managed to return to the field as well, but these Cold One Riders have been taken on a little bit of a merry-go-round. They've managed to break off the Chaos Warhounds, who will probably rally though and come back to the fray, and they're quite isolated, being hunted down with throwing axes. Looks like another Spirit Leech going down on the Umbral Tide. These poor fellows haven't really managed to get any shots in, but a glorious Hand of the Gods from Kroq-Gar coming down and slapping that Chaos Sorcerer of Death. He could probably go in with a follow-up charge there, as the front line isn't going to go too well for the Lizardmen, with so many elite Chosen fighting in this front line. Up against the Temple Guard, we can see is some glorious stuff as these guys do clobber each other to death. Looks like we do have the Curse of the Midnight Wind, however, catching a decent amount of these troops. Certainly going to allow the Saurus and Temple Guard to trade above their weight here. Fortunately, this unit wasn't caught. And the Temple Guard as well are kind of being axed in the side, which isn't too good for them. Chaos certainly winning the mobility game so far, gaining that map control, forcing off the Cold One Riders and the like. Prince Sigvald has popped Heroic Killing Blow, and he'll be quite happy to go toe-to-toe with Kroq-Gar. And as you can see, the new Footlords do not get slapped down quite so hard as they used to. Just as I say that, he gets flung to the ground by a Temple Guard. But still, it looks like Kroq-Gar is now going to be hunting at the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, which is a good target. He's relatively squishy, and Kroq-Gar hits like an absolute roided up truck. So he's going to be doing some pretty decent damage. However, the Demon Spew are here. They do poison and should be able to slowly drag down Kroq-Gar if he does remain there too long. But he is on the hunt for that Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Looks like Chaos definitely in the ascendancy so far. Saurus starting to struggle in the front line, even the Temple Guard as well, despite the help from that magical Curse Midnight Wind earlier. Looks like all the thrown axes have found a good target in our little Gary here, but at the same time, he's going to be able to shoot in and do some okay damage as well. Kroq-Gar has managed to pretty much finish off the Sorcerer Lord, but he's got 51 health, and he may actually return, which is kind of funny, but Kroq-Gar realising he needs to get back to the main fight to really try and turn the tide back in the Lizardman favour. Kroq-Gar hunting down foes here, up to 16 kills. Nothing too shabby so far, but the Chosen have been absolutely fantastic. Another Curse of Midnight Wind coming down. Mirror Guard, though, up to 33 kills, have done a good job so far. It looks like the Temple Guard will be able to beat the Chosen with great weapons as well, due to that magical support they have received throughout the battle. Plus their Temple Guard, they're bad to the bones. They're happy to take on any weak manlins. Although more Chosen are now pushing up the hill to try and surround the Temple Guard between them, as well as some Marauder horsemen with throwing axes. And this is a big problem. You can see the majority of the throwing axes have used up all their ammunition. Be very interesting to see the huge amount of value they got at the end of the day. And it looks like the forces of the Lizardmen are starting to buckle quite badly now. In the distance, Kroq-Gar is just kind of chilling off, hiding behind a tree for some reason, as a Demon Spew do indeed chase him, but the rest of the Lizardman force is now kind of getting mopped up. There is still a Skink Priest of Heavens lurking, as well as some decent amount of Saurus Warriors. The Temple Guard are now being isolated and picked apart. Some good counter-skirmishing coming in by Marauder Horsemen, cycle charging, as they come in, crash into the Temple Guard and help break their leadership. And with them surrounded, the Skink cohorts aren't going to stand much of a chance up against the elite Mirror Guard, the royal bodyguards of Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. And up to 52 kills, these guys have done pretty well for themselves so far. In the rest of the frontline engagements, more Temple Guard are fleeing for the hills. As you can see, the Prince himself is pretty much full health, and he's going to be an absolute nightmare for the remainder of this Lizardmen force to deal with. Looks like Kroq-Gar is now beaten down at the Demon Spew. That he's got them a little isolated, which is good for him. He'll be able to do some pretty decent damage, but there's just too many Chaos left on the field at this point. I think it's pretty much game over, but fantastic play by Energize, fighting to the bitter end here, and he's doing the right things. He's chasing off routing units, trying to ensure he can get that balance of power back to even if possible, to try and turn the tide once more, but 59 Chosen with great weapons is going to be a massive pain even for the mighty Kroq-Gar to deal with. And we see we've still got a couple of volleys left as well with the Marauder Horseman, who can, do some okay poke as well to the mighty Kroq-Gar, who's desperately trying to chase them down. They're being rather mean and skirmishing him for now. So it looks like, what do we have left? We have 5 Temple Guard here, so they're basically done for. We have a unit of 54 Saurus, a little Skink Priest who believes, and yeah, just Croc Guard. But a big Hand of Gods comes in. Unfortunately, this time only partially clips Prince Sigvald, doing some okay damage, and now he's going to be getting his fangs wet on these Mordor Horsemen, doing some pretty good work here. Maybe Crockguard can carry this game on his back, who knows? If he can kind of scare off and tear out a lot of these units, maybe he'll be able to kind of cycle charge the Chosen and Sigvald to death, but I think it's quite a big ask. As you see, some of the glorious attack animations of Crockguard does pull him to the edge of this formation, but it's a little bit harder now for the big entities to escape such kind of bunched up troops. However, the console has always been famously good at pulling through troops. It'll be interesting to see how the new mass changes has affected this type of unit. You see good cycle charging once more by Krablin, a veteran of the tournament scene, coming with these Marauder Horsemen and just continuing to cycle these guys down, slowly breaking the leadership and will of the mighty Crockgar as army losses does start to set in. Looks like Chosen in the distance have caught up with those Saurus warriors, and even with a harmonic convergence, it's not going to be enough. Yes, Palpatine, we had a Chaos win. Krablin is representing today, so hopefully we'll see some more Chaos games as well. No doubt if he gets to the final, we'll be seeing them once more, being one of his strongest factions. And the Chosen did really good all round. Not the craziest damage value, but they did kind of help break down the enemy formation and do some pretty solid work. You can see Sigvald as well. Fairly much full health and still gaining 1,200 gold value is very impressive stuff. But yeah, these Marauder Throne Axes did pretty good work for themselves as well. As for the Elizabeth forces, Crockgar certainly packed an absolute punch, but unfortunately the front line couldn't really get too much value for the most part. Umbral Tide as well as these Cold One Riders getting shut down very early on. GG. So the next map is going to be Pillar of Bone. Pillar of Bone up. Oh, I don't do caps lock. Bone up next. Good stuff. So let's update the scoreboard while I think about it. So that was a win to the mighty Krablin. Looks like I've got them on the wrong sides, but I'm sure you guys can figure out which one is which. So there we go. Krablin is going to be one up here, up against the mighty Energize. Both of them using what I believe is their best factions as well, straight out of the gate. So should be some good stuff to see how they try to come back from this. And it looks like O-Pavens, which I don't know what that means. I'm assuming Skaven. Oh, O-P-A Skavens. Okay, he's going Skavens, and he is banning Wood Elf and High Elf. Be interesting to see who Energize does indeed bring to counter the Skaven. Perhaps a Norska pick I can see being pretty good here. Chosen are the best. Right, let's get my phone sorted fully so I can actually chat to you guys. There we go. Chosen will rise as you foreseen, Master. Blackthorn is submitting to the dark side here. But all good to see. So welcome, guys. Hope you are enjoying so far. We have Crablin's #1 fan. We have Leo in here. What's up? Kitty Cohen as well. How are you doing? Jason. I want a Siege vid. Oh, from like the Siege mods? Because someone else was asking me for one of those, so perhaps I'll do a Siege mod. I haven't done them before, so it'll be a bit of an experiment, which could be some good fun. The almighty Footlords. And then Sigvald flies, he does. So Footlords still do get knocked down, of course, but it just happens far, far less. Particularly with like a Dwarven character who has high mass anyway. I did a video testing out Ungrim, and in, I think, 6 fights up against really large foes, he fell down like 3 times, maybe. So not much at all. He plays all your favourite factions. Nice, nice. I've seen you actually do some really good Skaven play before. Get Up For Mule, I believe. Is that rank 9 Chosen? Oh, yeah. What's up, Viking? How's it going, dude? Hope you're having a good time with the new DLC. I saw some of your videos kind of breaking down some of the units and the like. Energized is going to be going Tomb King, so hopefully he knows about the bug that is currently in the patch. So for those who don't know, and have been like asleep for today, the new DLC has emerged with a huge patch with a ridiculous number of stat changes. Most of them, you know, not too significant, but basically bigger targets kind of hit harder and are a bit squishier, and cycle charging and pulling big entities through units is a bit tougher, that kind of stuff. And of course, we also have the new Skaven tools and new Wood Elf tools. But anyway, there is a bug currently in the game where if you put the mighty Cetra up on his chariot, he becomes mortal and will actually run away, which is kind of hilarious. Cetra the Imperishable is not only perishable, but is also a coward and who is mortal, so he will get forced off. And as he runs away, he actually also crumbles, which is some hilarious stuff. He's way better than most people. Oh, Crablin. Yeah, Crablin's a scary dude. What's up, Weiss? How's it going? How are you today? Good to see so many of you guys in chat. The chats just keep getting bigger and bigger, like each stream. It's so cool right now. And sorry for the delay as well between last qualifier and this one. I had so much to do, and then we've managed to time it as well now with the DLC, which is quite nice. But there will be one more qualifier after this as well, which should hopefully be next week. I'm going to try and get it in quite quickly. And then the winner of all the 4 qualifiers, which so far is Dacta and Prussian Prince, will then come together for a grand finals, which I'm incredibly excited for. So looks like these guys are all good. And yeah. What's up, Talcor? Talcor is going to be up in the second semi-finals, up against Valkanos, who last time did get to the finals. So that's going to be a big old showdown as well. Doges of War. We need a cat faction. Indeed. Oh, I didn't know Krablin was Russian. So Tank, Krablin, Fistek, Falcon. Yeah, they're some scary players for sure. For sure. I don't think I faced Fistek before. I've definitely faced Tank and Krablin and Falcon. And most of the time, get my butt handed to me. Oh, there's a cool new button here, by the way, which is patch notes as well. It takes you all to the notes that have kind of been going on through like the latest DLC and stuff. I don't think you guys can actually see that as it pops up, but it takes you to like a Steam page basically. But yes. Vodka makes your brain clever. It does indeed. Yeah, Evenstar is a very good player. He's got some scary blob builds, Evenstar. He's a very tough opponent. I don't think I've actually faced him too much, but I've just seen him play quite a bit. Yeah, we had a good turnout today for players as well. Obviously, we had to do this about 2 hours after DLC release, so unfortunately a ton of players couldn't make it because obviously the DLC dropped to free, so to get it downloaded in time, you kind of had to be home at that time, as it can take between 1 to 2 hours to actually download, unfortunately. But still, we had a good turnout of players. We've had some underdog stories and some kind of traditional stories. Looks like Energized is ready to rock and roll, and so is the mighty Krablin. So let's hop in here, guys, to Pillar of Bone. Energized is Spanish, nice. I faced Energized a few times on ladder. He's a really nice guy. Just having a little sip of my drink to keep me alive and active. But yeah, have you guys been finding the release day? It has been horrifically stressful for me, unfortunately, but trying to organise a tournament, it turns out, on a release day when people on different patches and stuff is quite stressful. Gave myself a big fat headache, but it's worth it because we're here. So many games to go, and there should be some exciting stuff for sure. No, you need to work early tomorrow. Viking, you don't have to leave. You can just, you know, watch this in your sleep. Who needs sleep when you have Total War? And guys, here we are. Let's have a little look at Energize, as he's going to be trying to scrap back here from being 1-0 down. So for the front line, we have a mixture of Skeleton Warriors as well as Tomb Guard, it would seem, mixed in as well. Looks like Skeleton Warriors, yeah, a couple of Tomb Guard, as well as the Kepper Guard. So a pretty solid bad to the bones core, with some lighter, more cheap and cheerful chaff on either flank here. We do have the mighty Arkan the Black on his Hell Steed as well. Well, not Hell Steed, but Undead Steed. Maybe it was a Hell Steed in a former life. Coming in with the Tomb Blade of Arkan, Staff of Nagash, the Liber Mortis. We have Doom and Darkness as well as Spirit Leech. So pretty standard stuff you'd expect to see from him. We also have some Horsemen for a little bit of skirmish play, as well as a nice Archer core. We have just double Skeleton Archers and some more skirmish cavalry as well. Carrion up in the skies, and a double Bone Giant. So looking to to have a bit of a power base here in the central pocket with the bone giants and the archers, and then a ton of chaff to hold back the enemy, and a bit of an elite core as well to really grind through the opponent. Now, for the forces of the Skaven, we are going to be seeing some of the new stuff, but looks like only a couple bits, perhaps. So, in the front lines, we have cheap and cheerful Skaven slaves, or cheap and very uncheerful, I suppose, and it is going to be a Skaven rush, something I think is going to be even more powerful than it currently already is. We have clan rats in a secondary battle line, and backing them up, we have triple rat ogres, one on either flank and one running down the centre, and this one is the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep, one of the most badass names in the entire game. Every time I look at them I think Helm's Deep, but still, that's my fault. And they are the new regiment of renowned rat ogres, which do indeed come in with that berserk trait, which I'm not fully sold on them yet, because normally you don't want rat ogres staying in sustained combat for a long time, but still, it'd be interesting to see how they perform. We also have the Thing, the regiment around Hell Pit Abomination, which is of course got all the bonuses of being triple gold chevroned, as well as having its fluid injection, makes it rampage, but also an absolute wrecking ball. We have a lowly assassin down here on the ground, as well as a plague priest on the plague furnace. I'm a massive fan of this thing. Since I started playing Skaven a bit more for the DLC, I realised quite how powerful this can be. Coming up with a scrying stone, of course the plague monk summon, plague, vermintide, and pestilent breath. We have Beric Dundarian, clan Vulcan tail slashers, as well as Frot the Unclean on his new glorious mount, looking absolutely horrific. Coming in with the beast pack, which is the rat ogre summon, creature killer, remolded to heal up, as well clan molder units. And yeah, pretty good stuff all around. Cool, looks like these guys are all good. Good luck, have fun. And we'll get them away as soon as possible. Yeah, so his Brood Horror mount here looks pretty ferocious. Personally, I've had more luck with Frot on the ground, as he's a bit of a harder target, and he's quite a support character. But at the same time, he does come in with a whopping 95 speed, so he can bounce around very quickly on the mighty Brood Horror. Looks like both the players are pretty much ready, just the Tomb Kings making some final adjustments here. It'll be interesting to see what the Bone Giants do indeed shoot. I do fear for them a little bit, because I feel like the rush is going to grind through this front line rather quickly. There's going to be some really good focus fire from the Skeleton Archers and Bone Giants on key targets here. Of course, the Tomb Guard should do relatively well, chewing through the Clan Rats and the Skaven Slaves and the like, but all these kind of larger threats are going to be the real problem here. So looks like the battle is underway, guys. Carrying in the distance as well, looking to swoop down on any weapons teams and artillery pieces, but there aren't any. And that is quite a cool new thing you can do with Skaven. You don't have to rely on long-range firepower. You can go for a glorious rush. It looks like the first Bone Giant shot is going into a Rat Ogre, and it does indeed slay one of the fell creatures. And on the other flank, we have a similar situation as well. So 2 Rat Ogres dead, definitely first blood to the forces of the Tomb Kings. Skeleton Warrior is trying to hold back Frot the Unclean, who has come in for a bit of a cycle charge. With the added mobility, he doesn't have to worry too much. He can escape rather quickly as well. Only coming in with just below 5,000 health, though. He is incredibly squishy as well, I found, on this mount. So you've got to be a little bit careful with him as well. Bone Giants continuing to focus down the Rat Ogres, taking away a couple of models, which is nice to see. And even the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep are in trouble as well. Front lines are starting to engage here as Skeleton Warriors do charge into the fray, as well as Tomb Guard. And these glorious Skaven Slaves, I thought they were gold chevron there, they're just brown, kind of bronze chevron. Tomb Guard will be able to chew through them very, very quickly. Now the Fin has pushed into the back lines, which is both good and bad. It's now going to be a massive focus of attention. At the same time, it's going to be a good distraction, so the rest of the front line does get stomped down by the forces of the Skaven. In the back line as well, Nekakar Horsemen have managed to bunch up here, and it looks like we are going to get a fat vortex coming down. Perhaps, or it is indeed Plague coming down and nuking the Nekakar Horsemen here, absolutely destroying them. And what a glorious animation. You don't get to see Plague terribly often. It looks incredibly cool, as the Fin is getting remolded on him, pushing his HP back up, as well as giving him some melee attack and leadership to surround the Bone Giant. He is getting crossfired as well, which is pretty scary stuff. So we do see the Rat Ogre summon, which probably wants to hop on top of these archers and really shut them down to protect the Fin here. As in the front line, the Tomb Kings are decimating, of course, the Clan Rats and the like. Can't see many of them left standing, but these guys need to pull back and help support this more expensive back line. Otherwise, it's going to be a load of big monsters just chewing through skeletons in the late game. Plague Priest is doing very good as well. Creature Killer has been popped on him as well. And the Bone Giant is really starting to suffer quite badly now. But at the same time, the Fin has taken huge damage as well. Of course, like all Hell Pit abominations, he does come in with a Too Horrible to Die, so that could be pretty key here as well. Personally, I wish they switched Too Horrible to Die to match what the Sisters of Twilight health ability is, but that's a discussion for another day. Tomb King Cavalry has come in as well now. You can see they're breaking and shattering a lot of the clan rats. But yeah, still need to pull back where possible and help support this Bone Giant as he needs to survive here. And the Pit Fighters of Helm's Deep certainly have him in their grasp for now. And this is one of the situations where the Berserk trait's really going to help him out quite a bit. As you can see, it is active right now, so they've gained plus 13 melee attack, plus 22% physical resistance. That's a crazy powerful buff to have on these monstrous infantry. Doing a pretty good job here surrounding that Bone Giant, but in come the Horsemen to the rescue. In the main fight, it looks like we do have the fluid injection popped on the thing, and it is now imagined to drag down the Bone Giant with relative ease. Another Plague has come down, but it's not catching too many good targets this time. It looks like the Plague Priest is a little surrounded as well. We have the Summons You Shopti doing some pretty decent work. And Vulcan Tail Slashers are trying their best as well to go toe-to-toe with the Mighty Constructs, but not going to go too well for them all around. Although Rival High Tasman has been popped, neutering a lot of the effectiveness of nearby troops. Rat Ogres have been terrified and forced off, and it looks like the Bone Giant has been rescued. Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep are being dragged down by just sheer weight of number at this point, including Archon the Black. This is going to allow the Bone Giant once again to start unleashing hell upon the enemy. And you can see the Fin is quite beat up at this point, down to 3,000 health, and a big blast takes him down to 2,300. That is some scary stuff indeed. If he does get his Too Horrible to Die popped, then I mean, it's still so close. Even if he does get that, the Tomb Kings have so many good assets left. This game is really too close to call at this point. Energized, given as good as he gets here. And it looks like the thing does indeed fall. The mighty Skeleton Warriors drag him down. Although it looks like we are going to get an absolutely fat and monstrous Plague down on top of the Tomb Guard as well as Skeleton Horsemen. Crazy good value right there, destroying these units and helping out the Fin there. Or kind of avenging it, I suppose. Assassin is trying to get on the Bone Giant. This guy is going to be pretty hard to take down now. It looks like we still have some archers online and active, hunting down the Plague Priest. But a nice counterplay. Scrying Stone has been popped, giving it that damage resistance, trying to keep him alive and active. And Frot the Unclean is pretty much still full health. Tomb Guard are rallying to the cause as well, slowly finishing off the Skaven Slaves and Rat Ogres, but it looks like this second Bone Giant is now going to be the focus of attention, which of course is to be expected as we have kind of the big old blob of Skaven elite troops left standing. Over in the distance, Skeleton Warrior Summon is going to finish off these clan rats and free up Archon the Black to come back and probably just drop some fat spirit leeches. And just as I say that, it looks like he just finished dropping one on the Plague Priest, which is a good target to do next. Kill the Plague Priest, kill the Assassin, and then you just simply have to surround Frot and drag him down. Balance of Power still dead even. What a second game we're having here. Crazy stuff. Tomb Guard, though, are going to be able to clear up the Clan Rats and Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers. Although these guys up to 54 kills, that fire damage is, of course, can come in handy against undead factions in general. The Tomb Guard slowly being surrounded, but it looks like they're tearing through the enemy as well. If these Skeleton Archers can indeed stabilize, they're going to be pretty good into the late game, focusing down some of these larger threats. Frot the Unclean with the Skaven Brew active is charging into glorious combat, trying to deal the damage and the killing blows to this Bone Giant, but he's holding firm for now. Plague Priest is running for the hills and does indeed explode in a kind of pit of death there. And I think it's probably all over. I think the Tomb Kings are going to take this once Frot does go down, as it is basically Frot the Unclean against the world. We're taking overarching look of the battlefield. All these units are simply going to be routed or chased off by the mighty Carrion here. And Frot is now going for an assassination attempt on Archon the Black, which is the best play to make here. It's the only logical play really at this point to try and drag himself back into the game. If he can indeed kill Archon and psychocharge the Bone Giant to death, perhaps he can survive the Tomb Guard and the like. Although it looks like we are going to be seeing, no, not a, thought was a Spirit Leech there, but it looks like it wasn't. Archon is just bouncing back and forth, and the Bone Giant can now line up some shots once more. Very close game here, very heated, best of 3 so far. Looks like all the Clan Rats in the distance, yeah, they're not coming back, they're all completely shattered. So all we have is some loyal Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves, and Frot. And it looks like, yeah, the numbers do not favour the Skaven at all. Bone Giant is lining up a shot, but because Archon is dancing around trying to avoid the unclean, the Bone Giant can't actually get a decent shot away. And Archon looks like he is indeed going to stand and fight a little bit here, perhaps just to allow the Bone Giant to actually get some shots off. But he's getting obstructed by his own troops here, which is really bad news for him. And perhaps the Skaven can just about clinch this one. Clan Rats have returned to the field, hopping on top of the Skeleton Archers as well. It's a really nice play, and poor Archon the Black is being hunted down here. Of course, the Clan Rats are in combat as well, so it's all good, like attacking rules and all that good stuff. But also, Frotter doesn't have to change his target. If he targeted Archon the Black, he's allowed to hunt Archon the Black. So, looks like the archers are indeed engaged in combat. Bone Giant is going to get a fat shot in here, doing some pretty good friendly fire, but also burst damage to Frot. Lovely late game summon by Energized, a real kind of tournament veteran play there, which is you drop a summon down, try and push the balance of power away. Frot the Unclean is desperately chasing Archon. He is on the hunt for that bony booty, but he is starting to take some pretty consistent damage. And there comes army losses. What an insane game. That was so close. But it looks like Energized is punching back with a good old right hook, bringing himself well back in contention for this best of 3. Fantastic stuff. Frot did pretty good, managing to try to drag his way through to the finals. But Plague Priest, 30,000 damage. Insane work from him. Really helped clear out a lot of that chaff. Hell Pit Fighters did okay as well, getting a nice surround, but losing the Thin basically ended up costing the game. If he had got that 50% big health reburst, he probably would have managed to seal the game, but fantastic stuff there by both players. GG, crazy game. Cool, so on next we RB Northern Chaos Wastes. Cool. And up after this, guys, we have a second semi-final, and of course a best of 5 finals as well, so still plenty of good content to come for you guys. The Fin die. It didn't die. How's it going, Petersburg, aka the mighty Geese Howard? Hope you're all good. Mortis Engine and Fat Vortexes. Yeah, the Vortex did pretty good there. That was some insane stuff for sure. Seems we go to a rubber match, yes. Yeah, I think a lot of the damage dealing spells have been nerfed as well. You can check out the patch notes. They are currently live on Steam, I believe is where you can see them. So, Energize is choosing Greenskins, High Elves, and Vampire Counts. You get to ban one as well. Cool, and banning Bretonia. So basically, if it goes to in a best of 3 situation, if it goes to the last game, then the player who won the second game, which in this case was the mighty Energize, he gets to pick 3 factions. So he has chosen Greenskins, High Elves, and Vampire Counts. He then bans one. What Krablin is going to do in return is pick a faction and ban one of those 3 that Energize picks, and then Energize will get to pick the last one. So as we see, Krablin has gone Wood Elves. He will now ban probably High Elves there. Yep, banning High Elves. And now Energize will get to pick between the Greenskins and Counts. And it's an interesting matchup now, honestly. The High Elf matchup, I think, has got a bit easier for the Wood Elves with the new DLC. I think the Sisters are very good there. You can kind of burst down a lot of their archers before they reach your front line now, which is quite nice. And it looks like we are going to see new content for you guys straight away. We've had the Skaven, and now we're having it the Wood Elves. While I think about it, let's update the scoreboard. There we go. So it is 1-1. Quickly going to check Discord, make sure we have no questions. Looks like we're all good. So I'm just going to send a load of messages, but I think we're all good. Cool. So we are back in. What's up, Silent Spaghetti? No, Gromby died to a Health Prince and a Lion Chariot after I killed Longbeards. Why don't you use the smoke bomb, dude? Should help you out a bit. Yeah, in Science Spaghetti, I've been talking about like the new mass changes to chariots and the like, and chariots can still be incredibly good against dwarves, but in a battle situation where there's so many dwarves around, you can pin in the chariots as well. Still not the nicest things for Dari to deal with, although Dari characters can be a little bit sticky now. So Greenskins versus Wood Elves. Going to be very interesting to see how the guys do indeed play this. The kind of last DLC versus the new DLC showdown, which is some pretty cool stuff. If you guys are enjoying, by the way, feel free to hit that big old thumbs up button. Super helps me out. As it kind of pushes the stream out to more people and all that good stuff. And if you are new, welcome to the channel. I do all things Total War Warhammer base, and if that's kind of your jam, feel free to subscribe as well for more of that glorious content. As we're getting dangerously close to 2,000 subs, and if you guys have any ideas of what kind of stream or something I could do for celebration, please do let me know. Last time we did some shirt giveaways, which was really cool. So yeah, I'm kind of open to suggestions. I was thinking maybe a King of the Hill, or not King of the Hill, like a four-man tournament or something, where you got 2 points for winning a game and a point if you the chat kind of votes for you of like the best meme army or something, or the best themed army. And like you have 4 players that each play each other once and see who has the most score at the end of the game, or something along those lines. I thought could be quite interesting. Cool, cool. Looks like the mighty Krablin is indeed ready, so we are just going to be waiting on Energize now. What's up, Leo? God, the game is so laggy. Oh no, Leo. Is it laggy on your side? I think the stream has been fine here. Greenskins, I love it. Yes, Rob. The hype hype. Big fan of the page, love Warhammer Fantasy, but is it too late to get into Total War Warhammer? No, dude, it is a perfect time to get involved. Every time there's a DLC drop, Ryan, a load of new people come in, and the meta kind of changes as well, so people are still finding their feet. It is the best time to join right now, dude, honestly. Every time a DLC comes in, you get a load of new fresh faces, and if you want to get involved and you want some training or practice, feel free to join any of the Discords. Down below in the description, there should be a link to my Discord. And from there, you'll be able to find a lot of players. There's kind of like searching for players section or something like that. But with all DLC and Total War Warhammer 3, you got plenty of time, man. There's going to be at least another DLC before Total War Warhammer 3, so. Oh, you're playing right now. Oh, no worries, Leo. Hope you win and crack some skulls. But yeah, honestly, man, it's a great time to get involved. Just gonna have another sip of my drink so I don't die. I did a few quick battles. It's kind of hard when you're admin in a tournament. Like, you can't really leave your computer for too long. So I did a few quick battles and basically got counterpicked every time. Still had some good wins. But like, obviously I was going like wanting to play Wood Elves, so then everyone would bring High Elves or Dwarfs or whatever and so forth. But it's gonna be a little bit like that for a while. But yeah, it's still a good time to try out all the new stuff. And I don't know what my favourite new unit is just yet. I really do like the Great Stag Knights. Like, the Ethereal unit is so cool and badass. But Sisters of Twilight as well are a big fan favourite of mine. And for Skaven, what would be my favourite thing for Skaven so far? I'm not actually sure. I love the Hell Pit Fighters because they have the coolest name and colour scheme, like, in the game. But, maybe not in the game, but, you know, from the Skaven stuff. But I don't think they're going to be crazily good, just because, as I said earlier, their buff kind of is counteracting what Rogues normally want to do, which kind of get in there, smash a load of stuff up, then fall back. But I guess it helps them when they do want to take down those large entities and surround them and really kind of bog them down well. Thanks for the info. Would love to see Ogre Kingdoms as I play tabletop with them. Awesome. No, they're not released quarterly. I think the last one was 6 months ago. It varies. But I would say we've probably got like a year yet to Total Warhammer 3, I would guess. Because they at least got one more DLC. But obviously, because of the virus, I think everything has got slowed down, because they all had to work from home, and that transition period can be rather tough. So I think this DLC was probably meant to come out a little bit earlier than it did. And I think a few things got a little bit cut down, unfortunately, because I believe we got told we were going to get a Wood Elf Law of Magic, which we didn't. But hopefully they're still working on that, and it can be released at a later date. Anyway, for the forces of the mighty Energize and the Greenskins, for leadership we do have a Goblin Great Shaman on top of his mighty Spider, looking particularly gruesome here, and glorious on his little platform. Coming in with Don't Even Try It, Crown of Command, Arcane Conduit, Gork'll Fix It, Vindictive Glare, and Sneaky Stabbins, all the kind of predictable stuff. We do have Orc Boys here, just cheering themselves on. It looks like that's about it. Oh no, okay, here we go. So I'm wondering where his front line had gone. So we have a load of Orc Boys, just cheap and cheerful lads, and these guys are the definition of cheap and cheerful. They don't cost much, and they love a good scrap. They're just happy to be here. We have 8 Peak Loons as well, Regiment of Renowned Knight Goblins, who did get a bit of a points increase. It's a little bit more expensive, but still very potent and deadly. We have a Trolls as well in a secondary line, going to be saturated on top of these lower tier troops to help them allow these guys to absorb the damage while they really kind of pack the punch. We also have a decent Cav contingent, coming with a load of Forest Goblin Spider Riders as well as Orc Boys as well. We do have an Orc Araboy crew as well. Looks like no Rusty Arrows, so just 3 basic Orc Araboys to kind of strut their stuff. Now, for the forces of the mighty Wood Elves, let's see if we have any new units. Looks like we do indeed. So for the front line, we do have Dryads, including the Wraiths of the Frozen, Regiment of Renowned Dryads, who do come in, of course, with Frostbite, as their name would suggest, dotted all the way along. We also have a Loyal Waystalk here, Arrows of Kurnos, probably looking to snipe out any pesky artillery crews from Doom Divers and the like. We do have a couple of Glade Guard with Hagbane Tips, and with so much kind of better protection for these guys now, I think their unit will be seen a little bit more often. We do also have double Stags. We have some Wild Riders on one flank, and then we have the Lost Silver Knights, Ethereal Great Stag Knights here. Perfect to take on Greenskins. 75% physical resistance is lovely. We have Ariel as well coming in with, let's have a quick look. Soul Stealer, Apotheosis, Acorn of the Ages, which is a nice explosion damage, and Berry Wine, which is basically a free regrowth. And then we have the Sisters of Twilight looking incredibly badass on top of the dragon, taking a shot to the face. I love how one of the sisters rides on top of the head. And they're going to be coming in with the Eagle Quiver, which is basically a souped up Arrow of Kurnos. But that's it. They don't actually come in with their little regen situation. So we can see the sisters are starting to focus down these stone trolls where possible, sundering their armor, which is going to allow the Glade Guard to do a little bit more damage as well. So it looks like the force of the Greenskins do start to approach, but they're not going to have too many good items here to deal with the Lost Silver Knights. There is a few things you can do to counter these guys, but yeah, they're going to pull back for now. You can see a few of them getting caught up, though, even on little goblins here. Yeah, some of the stone trolls taking a bit of a pounding. Orc Boys do start to engage with the Dryads, which is going to be a blood and thunder affair, as Wild Riders as well do some lovely shock damage into these Orc Boys before falling away once more. Looks like we are going to be seeing a fat debuff or spell come down here. It looks like it is a Soul Stealer from Ariel, doing some good damage to the Orc Boys and Forest Goblin Spider Riders. You can see the Sister of Twilight taking a considerable amount of damage now to the Orc Daka line, as well as that Goblin Great Shaman from earlier, but Greenskin front line is melting pretty hard here due to some good cycle charging. Lost Silver Knights help mop up some trolls while bouncing across to aid these Dryads who are really starting to struggle over on this flank. And things are already looking pretty good here for the forces of the Wood Elves, apart from the Sisters of Twilight taking an absolute hammering. And I think we do have Apotheosis, surely on Ariel, we do indeed, but that doesn't give you the most hit points, so down to just below 2,000, kind of more Vindictive Glares, and they could be in big trouble. Glade Guard are getting some pretty decent shots away now, everyone trying to focus down that Goblin Great Shaman, realising he's the biggest threat at the moment to the lovely Sisters of Twilight, who are getting healed up. We do see a Gork'll Fix It popped down on the Lost Silver Knights. They don't really have the ability to charge all around battlefield. And it looks like a Berry Wine has been popped on them rather than the Sisters. And that's one good thing about the Sisters. They can kind of avoid damage if they get too low by floating away and still getting consistent work done by shooting from afar. But another Vindictive Glare going down on the Sisters, doing some massive damage on those ladies. I don't believe this guy comes in with the mushrooms, so he can't fire it twice really quickly, which is a bit unfortunate. The Orc Araboy kind of back Daka line has started to be overrun here by the Lost Silver Knights, who of course do cause terror. It's really bad for the force of the Greenskins. Wild Riders as well dance in, scaring away all of these foes. And it looks like the Stone Trolls are trying to rally back to the cause, but it looks like the Goblin Great Shaman here may be finished off, and that's a lovely combination. So Sisters can fire 2 different shots, a single shot which does do sundering armor, or a scatter shot which does poison. And fun fact, Scatter Shot is actually better against large creatures from point-blank range as it works as a shotgun, but still. the Armor Sundering coming down on the Goblin Great Shaman, then being followed up by the Glade Guard is really kind of paying good dividends. And yeah, that Shaman can simply not escape. He's trying to fall back where possible, but it looks like he has broken, and I think that's pretty much going to be game. Not too much of the Willow forces left. Sister's incredibly beat up at this point, although Ariel is incredibly full strength pretty much still. Sisters dart in here, up to 69 kills as well, doing some pretty decent work and shooting a few more shots off in the direction of the Stone Troll. So kind of the last bastion of strength here for the forces of the Greenskins. We are going to be seeing another fat Soul Sealer come down. No, Ariel is shoved to the ground unceremoniously by these trolls once again as well. It's like, no, you get down there, you are not casting any spells today. But every time she gets back up, she's desperately trying to cast that spell on the Stone Trolls, who are currently getting harassed as well by Archer Fire, and the Soul Sealer will finish this game off for sure. So it looks like Krablin, the Mighty, is going to take this hotly contested series 2-1, and he will be going through to the finals. We have a second semi-finals that'll be turning up in just a few moments. While Silver Knights just clean up a few troops, and it looks like we have the Unbreakable to 8 Peak Loons, 2 models left, and yeah, these poor guys about to take a load of explosive damage. The Brave Goblin does survive, and he takes another volley as well, charging in for a glorious Valhalla-style death. He unfortunately gets obliterated there. What's up, Glorious Feeder? How's it going? Yes, the running around stags are definitely going to be an issue for Greenskins and Beastmen, but at the same time, I actually did a video on this before. There's a really nice kind of effect you can do on the Lost Silver Knights. You slow them down with the River Troll Hag and then drop a foot of Gork, and yeah, it's glorious stuff. So OP RRL Cav is in this matchup for sure, but in other matchups, they're not actually. They kind of really struggle to make their value back. They are 2,000 gold, so... Krablin, I will see you in the finals. Chill in stream to see when you are up. Well played, energized, great effort. Bam bam. Yeah, these stags are very scary, but at the same time, to get their value... Oh, sorry, I forgot the value. It's just habit. I'll look for it next time. But yeah, like... Oh, sorry, Talcor's just sent me a friend request. I'll accept quickly. But yeah, they're 2,000 gold, which is pretty scary stuff, to be honest. So you really have to get some fantastic value from them to actually make it worth it. 2 incoming requests, Mr. Krablin and Mr. Talcor. We'll get these guys in just a second. So, up next we are going to have Valkanos, if I can find you. So, Talcor. And where are you hiding, Valkanos? I swear I have you in my friends list. Where are you? You're lurking somewhere. I can feel it. I feel it in my bones. Maybe not. Maybe not. I have so many people here, it's kind of hard to tell. And he may be in offline mode, but I can send him a message. Hey, bud. Hey, the lads are here. So, next map will be River Maxon. I will change the scoreboard in just a second. Don't worry, guys. So, maps are River Maxon, Eschen, and Castle Drakenhof. Good stuff. So let's quickly change the scoreboard. So very well played to energize there. A super good game by him as well. And let's quickly change Krablin to 2-1. There we go. That was indeed the score. And let's change the names. So on the right side, we do have Valkanos returning once more, as he did get to the finals last time. Valkanos. And left text. Let's switch that up to Talcor, who I believe is making his debut on the channel. So I think someone said he was a bit of a veteran, like a returning veteran to the game, which is awesome if it is. It's always good to see kind of like, you know, new people and people returning as well. So let's drop those scoreboards back down to 0-0 and hop back in. Cool. So it looks like... I got too far, my hands are shaking. Oh no, Talcor, you'll do great, bud. So he's going to Empire, Banindawi, and Skaven, which is 2 pretty good bands. Ooh, I can come back and chill out with you guys and chat for a little while now. Yeah, the ladder reset, this does it every time. Like, some people get reset and some don't. It's very strange. That's very strange stuff indeed. I just gave him a poor Dowie play. I feel bad. Should I feel bad? I mean, you're going in the book, but you shouldn't feel too bad. What's up, Raptor? How's it going, bud? Good to see you here. Our mighty moderator, Raptor. You've made it just in time for the second semi-finals to kick off. Talcor was in Warhammer 1 and played older Total Wars. Well, it's fantastic to see him back. I'm really excited to... he's representing VM as well. So we've got VM versus RTK. And Valkanos going Vampire Count. He is going the Spooks, who have had a few changes themselves. Nothing too crazy, but Vargeists do now have armor piercing, which is quite nice, and Vlad Daddy himself does cause terror and is a just bigger nuisance in general, which is a really good change. I'd quite like to see him in action a little bit more. Is there much competitive stuff like this regularly? Yes, there is, Ryan. You do have to try and find it a little bit. There's not too many kind of CA-hosted events. They kind of do one, which is basically hosted by Turin anyway, which is the Everchosen, which just happened. But yeah, there's tournaments every week, 2 to 3 tournaments every week. You just need to hop in the right Discords. So as I said before, if you join my Discord, in there should be a link to other Discords as well, or just message a guy and they'll send you them to like those tournament Discords and all that kind of good stuff. Sorry for the sirens in the background, guys, if you can hear that. Just waiting for it to pass, but I do live right next to a hospital and next to a police station, so one either side. So unfortunately, I do get that stuff now again. Vlad OP, I wish. He's good though now. Oh, any resets after you play the first game on quick battles. Okay. Getting into the Dwarves' little book of complaints is something everyone should aspire to. The sass. The absolute sass. Might need Hag or Azag again. Yeah, to take on the Stags, it is possible. Again, it depends on the matchup. Some matchups they're going to be deadly in, like against Beastmen and up against Greenskins. But at the same time, yeah, if you mither them and slow them down so they can't really escape, and then drop a big fat foot of Gork on them, you've just gained yourself 2,000 gold in damage. So they are a little bit risky at the same time, as they have to put in a huge amount of work to actually get that money back. But at the same time, they can carry a game completely on their own, on their backs. So as we saw there, they're basically untouched by the end. So, ready, good luck, have fun. You too. Always good to see good sportsmanship. It's one of the main things I value on the channel. Vlad is suicide because there's always a chance of a Luminarch versus Empire. Yeah, that'd be brutal stuff if poor little Vlad just get annihilated in the face. What's up, Valkanos? Good luck, dude. And for those who don't know as well, Valkanos competing here today does indeed have a YouTube channel, which I believe is just called Valkanos. So if you type in the same name of his name, you should be able to find it up there. Does Total War Warhammer videos as well. So I definitely recommend going and checking that out after this event. So for the, speaking of the devil, oh no, he's over there. So speaking of Talcor to start with, the OG, he's bringing in the forces of mankind, kind of the halberdiers in the front line. Now, all halberd units, for the most part, kind of like cheap and cheerful ones, did get a points reduction. So he's coming with silver chevrons ones, as well as triple bronze. So some pretty bad to the bones halberdiers, and it looks like they're going to be forming a glorious defensive formation. We do have a couple units of hand gunners. Oh no, we have Sterling's Revenge, in fact, as well as the Silver Bullet. So Regiment of Renowned Free Company Militia, as well as the Regiment of Renowned Hand Gunners. We have some more cheap spearmen as well to help finish out this glorious formation. And we do indeed have the Tempelhof Luminarch, the Regiment of Renowned one. which is going to be pretty glorious stuff, and depending on what his opponent's brought, can do some scary stuff indeed. We do have 3 characters here on horseback. We have a light wizard coming in with a net, as well as Shem's Burning Gaze, Power Stone, and Blast. For the bright wizard, he also has Blast, Power Stone, Burning Head, and Fireball. I don't think Burning Head and Pendulum are quite as good anymore. I think they've got pretty substantial nerfs, but we'll have to wait and see. We have Volkmar the Grim coming with Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Hammer of Sigma, as well, of course, as the Jade Griffin to give him some glorious regeneration. And it's going to be a scary box indeed. Now, for the forces of the undead... Oh no! Oh no, Valkanos, no! Run! Vlad is indeed going to be taking shots to the face. And as you see, Vlad, he's had a few stat changes. I think he's had a bit more AP added to him and the like. He's bringing Master of Bewilderment, which is a super powerful hex, which I love. Bringing Raise Dead, Val's Dance Macabre. We also have Invocation the Heck. He has Blood Drinker as well. And of course, he does now cause Terror, which is always pretty useful. We have Waves of Undead Chaff as well, as expected. A load of zombies. It's not a real vampire counts build, unless there's some zombies involved, in my humble opinion. We also have a ton of Graveguard, it would seem, in the secondary line, as well as some Skeleton Warriors. We have Crypt Ghouls, so it's quite a mixed force, actually. Crypt Ghouls to just chew through the enemy a little bit quicker, and some Cane Wraiths as well. Ethereal, spooky ghosts with some deadly scythes. We do have a White King, as well as a couple units of Blood Knights. In fact, 2 White Kings, so they're going to be rolling dirty with their Blood Knight brethren. And we have some Fellbats up in the sky. Looks like 2 units, so you're going to have to get busy here, trying to shut down that temple off. And with those nets coming in, this could be some pretty scary stuff. And as we can see, a big old blast to the face is indeed going to be coming in. And Vlad, doing his best Matrix impression, scoots his boot and escapes. So only meager Skeleton Warriors and Zombies do take the hits. In comes the Fireball, another swing and another miss. So Valkanos certainly showing his moves like Jagger there, and doing some very impressive stuff indeed. Looks like the Sterling Revenge have been spotted here by the Fellbats, as the second blast is indeed going to be coming up, and this is going to be a painfully slow approach from Vlad, and he does indeed take the slap to the face. That was also doing nice damage to the Cane Wraiths and the Skeleton Warriors at the same time. We do see Arcane Conduit pop on Vlad, and he's certainly going to want to heal himself up now and again, although he does have that regeneration, so hopefully he will make it to the front line. But yeah, Templar Luminarch already got 87 kills, although most of them on zombies and the like. And this is the problem with the undead, you're incredibly slow on the ground, and yeah, Vlad is getting pummeled pretty horrendously here at this point, down to 2,500 health. He's going to have to pop an early invocation. Honestly, it might be worth hiding behind this tree, I would say, and trying to dodge the Luminarch shots and kind of appear in late game when you can shut it down a bit more. So you have another Fireball coming in, but again, a swing and a miss, and this is a lot of value that's been chucked at Vlad, right? Like, all the shots and all the magic and the like, so perhaps it won't pay off if they don't actually finish the job here. Looks like Volkmar is going to ride forth ahead of his army, Gandalf style, into the enemy lines, probably to cool down some holy fire, and also try to pin in the counts where possible. Lovely Scabascape, I think that's what it's called, coming down by the White King, although it's a little bit of a miss, and we do have a net come down. And now the Silver Bullets are going to turn and engage. Shem's Burning Gaze as well, doing some lovely damage to the White King, who's really getting pounded now as a Fireball does come in. But Blood Knights are hot on the tail of this Light Wizard, who's scarily running away. But it looks like this pesky Pope-like figure is indeed going to get caught and poked. But he's going to fall back behind his Halberdiers, who should be able to protect him relatively well. Silver Bullets as well, falling back into the box formation. And they're going to allow these, Skeleton Warriors and the like to throw themselves at the line. And with so many chevrons popped on these guys, even the Graveguard will struggle to break them down. Strange formation on this side here, but it looks like Vlad has managed to finally get engaged in combat without taking too much damage, or at least he's regenerated quite a lot up at this point. And he's going to be kicking some of these halberdiers in the face. Grand Hammer of Sigma, Grand Shield of Faith, though, is souping these guys up to be super soldiers, and they're doing a pretty decent job as well. Blood Knights trying to find a home, lapping around the outside, but there's just a wall of spears and halberds in every single direction. Fellbats do fall upon the Sterling's Revenge, though, and even with the Grand Hammer of Sigma popped, looks like these guys may go down to the Mighty Bats indeed, as they can't take lots of shots from behind. White King once again doing some fantastic juke in dodging Fireballs and Luminarch shots, and that's one thing that Valkanos has been fantastic about this game so far. Volkmar the Grim does get a little too close to Vlad and takes a little bit of damage. Master of Bewilderment is popping down, so these halberds are now going to be at pretty pitiful stats, at least for a little while. Oh no, it's not air affected, it's just on him. But Volkmar is struggling a little bit there indeed. 94 kills so far for the Templehof, but he hasn't managed to assassinate any key characters yet. Zombie Summon has come down on the silver bullets as well. And these Spearmen, of course, they are holding the formation, but they're kind of just chilling, for the most part as well. Big Burning Head does come down the line, doing some pretty good damage, mainly to the zombies and, of course, the ethereal units, but also catching a ton of halberds. Oh no! Basically wiping out one of his own units, but at the same time, he not too much damage actually on those grave guards, so a bit tit for tat, but good damage on the cane wraiths, I suppose. But Identification Heck is going to go down on all these troops, keeping them nice and healthy, and it's an incredibly close game so far. Fellbats are distracting the Templehof, as well as trying to finish off the silver bullets, helping out these zombie summons. Blood Knights are starting to collapse in now with the White Kings into the rear of a lot of these units who weren't currently braced. The Spearmen have now managed to lap around and try and surround the Blood Knights, and they do force their way out, but you can see it takes them a little while longer kind of getting caught up on a few units, so a few of them will fall to their doom. Lovely bombardment coming by Volkmar should help finish off these cane rifes, as well as these Graveguard who are really starting to struggle here. We do have some more Skeleton Warriors though waiting in the wings. Good diligent play by Valkanos, using these Fellbats to chase off routing units, getting some good value, and this is an incredibly close game, guys. I don't know which way to call it yet. Crypt Ghouls do come for a nice surround on the Halberdiers here. So it looks like we do have a Shem's Burning Gaze or a Blaster going down at the Blood Knights, but they are now into this central pocket. Going to be getting some lovely rear attacks on the Halberdiers, helping break up this formation, which will allow the Graveguard and Crypt Ghouls to flood into the back line, which is really good play here. Volkmar the Grim trying his best to hold the line, but Vlad Daddy is strong in that central pocket. Light Wizard going strong as well. Looks like they should be able to finish up these zombies. Templehof, Luminarch as well has a ton of ammunition left, but he needs to choose the right targets, of course. Blood Knights have managed to collapse this formation now with some glorious play. In the distance, the White King and Blood Knights have taken these Halberdiers for a little bit of a merry-go-round, and they can now use their added pace to swing back around and come back into the main fray. It looks like Fellbats as well, just distracting some of these units on the periphery who are rallying, and I think they've done a change to rallying units as well, or kind of being chased units. But if a unit is running away, currently has more value than the unit chasing it, I think it actually has a chance to rally even when being chased, but I'll have to double check that, guys, because I didn't see anything about that in the patch notes, and it's just something I heard about before. Anyway, Crypt Ghouls and Graveguard are chewing their way through these brave men of Sigma, who are just the Spearmen, so they're kind of the soft underbelly of this build, which has kind of been forced into the front lines. Lovely net of Amantok going down on the Blood Knight is going to make them get surrounded by Spearmen, but they should be able to, scoot their boot and escape as well. White King has found a Bright Wizard, which this Bright Wizard not going to really have a good day if he does stay here too long. Looks like we are going to see a net of Amantok again come down on these Blood Knights. That was a real quick cast. Maybe it was a one from the Templehof, perhaps. And the Spearmen going to get in with a nice surround, and these Blood Knights could be in big, big trouble. In the distance, Sterling Revenge are getting eaten up and gobbled down by these fell bats. Doing pretty decent work, and it looks like the Sterling Revenger are probably done for. And I think the Counts are starting to take this game by the scruff of the neck a little bit here. Vlad is at his healing cap, however, so if the Luminarch can get some shots in, which is a big if, because it has to fire through a lot of its own troops, it can perhaps swing this game back heavily into the Empire favour. Blood Knights in the distance just going to be chewing on Spearmen, and yeah, these are rallying troops that Empire probably don't have much chance of actually coming back into the main fray. And Crypt Ghouls should be a good answer as well to these terrified Spearmen and the like, dragging their name through the mud. The Volkmar going once again trying to go toe-to-toe with Vlad, and he's trying to cycle charge a little bit here, but he's taking quite a decent amount of damage each time, coming with that bombardment to try and help clear up the zombies and chaff. But in comes the White King with the interception, and Vlad is pushing his way forward. He's on the prowl, and he's going to get some nice rear attacks in as well. We do have that debuff popped down on Volkmar. He's trying to counter it with the Grand Hammer of Sigma, but still, he's not going to be having a good time here. Going to get assassinated by these two characters, and if Volkmar goes down, the forces of mankind will certainly falter, I think. I would say Undead Hordes aren't having a pretty good show of it, but Volkmar manages to scoot his boot to freedom for now, and Vlad obviously can't really chase like that, so he's going to come back and hop on the Halberdiers and just try and help, clear up the front line and allow the Crypt Ghouls to come back. We do have a 2-for-1 action though. The White King has got himself in a bit of a pickle. Volkmar as well as this Light Wizard coming in, and with the Grand Hammer of Sigma, this Light Wizard can hit pretty tough. But Vlad has come in as well, so we have the hero duel of the ages. Two warriors of good, two warriors of evil. and a load of little gremlins. Of course, it wouldn't be a good versus evil fight if the evil guys didn't cheat and bring some of their friends to the fight as well. In the distance, we can see Blood Knights have been netted, but that's not going to save the Templehof for too long if this summon does come down. Lovely play here, popping in the summon to try and keep the Templehof kind of within range, and more Blood Knights are coming in, but we are going to have a big shot, most likely aimed at Vlad, and boom, it's kind of clips, I think, the White King there, doing some pretty decent damage, but it looks like the forces of the Empire are just about going to break here and fall back. Awesome game. That was a real strange battle. Vlad having to do so well in general with the characters as well. So much juking from Valkonos there. You can see the Blood Knights as well got pretty decent damage done. Not the most damage earned here, but the Fellbats as well were pretty key in shutting down that back line for decent time. Vlad, 1,500 gold back, and considering he didn't die, and that's kind of what he's there for, he certainly did some pretty decent stuff. But what you're all here for, of course, is the damage value of these zombies. Oh, look at that, 21 gold back, 26 gold back a kill. Very impressive stuff as well. As for the Luminarch, 11,000 damage, 2,400 value back as well. So certainly did take a big chunk out of the Vampire Count's forces, but unfortunately not being able to finish off those troops really kind of cost it in the end. We see some big damage from Volkmar as well, 11,000 damage, 14,000 as well by the Bright Wizard. Very interesting build. Nice attempt there by Tal Kor. GG. Up next, we will be on Eschen as well. Let's let the boys know. Eschen up next. And let me update the scoreboard while I think about it. So, it is going to be Valkonos taking the lead. There we go. Just going to check Discord quickly, make sure we're all getting the herd. Looks like we are. And let's put back in here. Sweet. Let these guys decide their matchups and the like. What do you guys think of that one? That was pretty awesome stuff. I think Burnhead got less damage, but higher area. Okay. No whites, no scarabs, box win. I mean, he did have the whites with the scabs in the end, but they didn't, to be honest, actually use them to really break the box. I think he just managed to force his way through those Blood Knights in the end in the back line, and then kind of run over the enemy, which was pretty good in the end. Kind of broke down that front line, and then they flooded in and slowly surrounded the enemy, which is a good tactic. I don't think enough people do. I think a lot of people, once they break into that back line, just want to go for those juicy targets. But if you hammer home the front line, all of a sudden you've opened the floodgates for all your normal forces to come in and put a ton of pressure. If he had used Volkmar Chariot, would have been easy win. Why you use him on horse? Flexing, exactly. He's got style. And I was thinking, I haven't seen a Luminarch in so long that there's no way he'll bring it well. Very good dodging it in the end. Yeah, casters always get pretty decent value all around. What's up, Dark Phoenix? Those shields really paid off. That juking really paid off. That was some epic stuff. Chad DLC Lord Helman versus Virgin Free LC Lord Vlad. Helman did get buffed as well, I believe. I never have to click accept on PayPal for donation money. So weird. What was that? I don't even talk about that, Ben. Hopefully that's not for me. Maybe that's for yourself. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Valkonos is going to be going Norska, banning vampires and greenskins, and Talco wants to go greenskins but can't, so it is indeed going to go Brett, I think. Yes. So we have Bretonia versus Norska, a very interesting matchup indeed. Can go either way. I think Valkonos is definitely going to have to bring a mixture of Famir and Skinwolves, in my opinion. You need a little bit of both, and Talco obviously going to come in with some of that heavy clad. Gorse is pretty wild now. Gorse is pretty wild. I don't know how it's going to work. He's just incredibly cheap now on his corpse cart. So, who knows? Maybe he'll actually be able to get some value back now. But yeah, I agree. Wizards, for the most part, tend to get good value back. I like, it's one of those things I say to, like, newer players. I've seen newer players not bring casters. And, like, my housemate, for example, was trying to get in the multiplayer scene, and he doesn't always bring a caster. I'm like, why not? And he's like, well, it's extra micro. I have to remember this real squishy target. I'm like, dude, always bring a caster. It's such good value because you're wasting all that Winds of Magic resource that you're just gifting to your opponent. You know, you're kind of instantly giving them an upper hand. So, yeah. Riding dirty on the mortars, hell yeah. Vlad is indeed dad, Rob. That is 100% true. Ald Elmo, how's it going? Hope you're all good, man. Good to see you back as always. I'm just scrolling through. I know I've missed a lot of people, I apologise, but hope you guys are indeed enjoying. If you are, I know I say this too much, but it really does help if you hit that thumbs up button. As spread us out to more people and the like. Oh no, I've hidden my chat on my phone. How's it? There we go. You guys are back. Good, good. We're going to be on Eschen as well, so I'm expecting a pretty blood and thunder affair, with probably some cycle charging in the front lines by Talcor, and slowly falling back to a peasant archer bowline, which can be pretty potent and deadly here. As for Valkanos, it's going to be interesting, as I said. I think you need the Famir and Skinwolves to counter cavalry. Skinwolves very quick, mobile, deadly, regeneration, all that good stuff, but you need to mix in some Famir as well to add a little bit more punch, and some of that armor sundering can help quite a lot. But I have to see how these guys play it. We've seen some pretty different playstyles so far today. I was actually quite interested by that Empire kind of Doom box of halberds, but unfortunately it did get broken down, so we'll have to see if Talcor goes for a similar approach again, kind of boxing up maybe some trebuchets, which I kind of doubt there'd be trebuchets, but, you know, boxing up with some archers and the like, or he's going to go for a more offensive approach, which the Bretonnians are, of course, known for. We're making good time, though. I think we've been running for just over an hour here. Can you play as Chaos sub-factions? You can play as Chaos. Like, Norska are kind of like a sub-faction of Chaos in a way, if you're thinking of tabletop rules, I think. Were they the same? No, maybe not, maybe not. But, so Norska kind of are like, you know, on the side of Chaos, but they are their own faction. Same with Beastmen. As for Chaos, you do have multiple different lords. You have Sigvald, Kolek, Archaon, the Big Bird, all that good stuff, but they all fight under the same banner, so no kind of cool colour scheme or the like for them. Looks like Valkanos is ready, just waiting on the legendary Talcor here. They seagulls rolling, they hating. Faye got a pretty high melee defense debuff, yeah, plus she's going to get stuck a little bit more now, which is good. I'm not taking Chariot. Yeah, Chariot would have been good there. Chariot's, the Volkmar Chariot is pretty potent and deadly. Cool, gonna have another little sip to try and keep my voice going. I do like the idea of this build, though. It was pretty cool, and it's always good to see the Luminarchers in action as well. Got some good value itself, but the problem was it's such a big investment, and it didn't kill anything, you know? I mean, it obviously killed a lot of people. It killed like 100 kills or something, but it couldn't finish off Vlad or the White Kings, and that's what it's really there for. So it still allowed for the White Kings and Vlad to get value back, which is kind of the big problem of it, which is a little unfortunate for it. But yes, good stuff. But after this, one of these guys will be going through as well, of course, to the finals up against Krablin, who I think did take down Tank, actually, in the quarterfinals. Which, if you've got any of those replays, Tank, which were particularly good games you want me to cast, feel free to send them over, because I can imagine that would be a pretty epic game between you two guys. You guys are very evenly matched, kind of top competitors. Yeah, Leo, I've done that before. It sucks. I take a note of people I play who do that type of thing, and I just avoid them on ladder if I see them again. People who just bring like 10 single entities or whatever. Not 10 single entities, but you know what I mean. Just all flying single entities, and that's it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to leave. Talcor, good luck, have fun. Looks like we are ready to rock and roll here, guys. And Valkanos could book a early seat into the finals here, or perhaps, like in the previous game, we are going to see a bit of a fight back here, which I'm certainly all about. I love the games when they go the full length. Gives us, you know, allows us to see a little bit more action, which is always good stuff. Good stuff. here we are, the mighty fields of Eschen. Pretty cool map all around. Often you can see forces on this flank taking a defensive approach up here on the high ground. But let's pop in here and see. So Talcor on the ropes, trying to bounce back here, and it's going to be pretty much as we expected. So we are going to have a filthy peasant bowline. Looks like they've got a mixture of pox arrows as well as fire arrows into the mix, which is good to see. So we have a ton of those guys, and then in the main battle line we have men at arms, as well as men at arms with pole arms dotted all the way along. So pretty cheap, pretty cheerful, but still very cost effective, going to do some good damage. Also, of course, as is Bretonia's kind of main theme, going to have a bucket ton of cavalry. We have mounted yeomen, very interesting. Mounted yeomen on either flank. Don't get to see these guys terribly often at all. I think they've maybe been buffed a tiny bit as well in the patch. Nothing substantial, but maybe they're going to be here to push back, try and shut down javelin play and the like if they can get into the back lines. We do have a mixture of Questing Knights as well as the Regiment Round Knights Errant in the back line, and more Questing Knights. Now, these guys are anti-infantry, so they're not going to be the best at dealing with skin wolves and the like, but still they pack a pretty decent punch and can still do some good damage, especially on the charge. Although, despite that, they're also relatively good in sustained combat, at least for, cavalry at least. With the defenders of Fleur de Lis as well, Regiment of Renowned Knights Errant. These guys are also anti-infantry, so really looking to win that melee fight and allowing the archers to kind of pick away at some of the larger threats. We do have double Paladin as well, who are, anti-large, but perhaps they can deal with some of the larger characters. I love their capes. I never noticed they had the chalice on them before. And they're, of course, going to be escorting the Lady, the Fey Enchantress. Coming in with Arcane Conduit, Regrowth, and Earth Blood, so all of the heals. The defenders have a really cool colour scheme as well. I never kind of zoomed in to check these guys out before, but the blue and white makes them look pretty regal. Now, for the forces of Norska, huge amount of skirmish cavalry. We have Marauder Horsemen, Marauder Horsemasters dotted all the way along. Going to be doing some good long-range, kind of consistent firepower onto those Bretonian Knights. For the main battle line, we do have some Berserkers in the central pocket with familiar warriors with great weapons, as well as the Mist Stalkers, Regiment of Renowned version, who do have Stalk, and of course they come in with that magic attacks, armor sundering, all the goodness. We do have basic Marauders in the very front line, and then more Berserkers as well. I think maybe too many Berserkers, because you're already going to win the front line, but still, I'll probably be proven wrong as usual. We then also do have a Glorious Shaman Sorcerer of Death, coming in with Spirit Leech, as well as... let's see which that one is. It is Soulblight. I was about to say Doom and Darkness, so good thing we checked. Lowering the armor, which will actually allow, the Berserkers in sustained combat to do pretty good damage to the Questing Knights, I suppose. We have the mighty Frog as well, King of the Trolls, coming in, and he's looking pretty gruesome indeed. Not a very happy fellow at all. And the battle is underway. It looks like he's brought him pretty much naked. He has Foe Seeker, it would seem. So, just from looking at the build, it's going to really depend a lot on the skirmish game, on how much damage these Horsemasters can do to the cavalry and the like. The frontline engagement will certainly be won by the Norskans, and they're going to chew through it pretty scarily fast, unless there's a lot of assistance from Knights in the frontline engagement, because these Berserkers will chew through men-at-arms, and yeah, basically it's just men-at-arms, I think, dotted all the way along very, very quickly, and that will allow them to pop on top of the archers, put pressure on them and the like, but the cavalry could be a bit of a problem here. We still do have, the huge skirmish corps, as well as the familiar warriors, though, to try and answer that department. So it looks like the fire arrows are going to fire now into the Marauder Horsemasters, doing a tiny bit of poke as they do fall back and retreat. We are going to see some lovely javelins and axes, though, being copied at the mounted yeomen, but that's what they're here for. These guys are here just to be a little bit expendable. They're shielded, they can pop forward, try and take some of that valuable damage away from the Norskans, which would otherwise be going on their more expensive knights. So some of those fire arrows are now loosing upon the Mist Stalkers, or maybe the Marauders in the front line, and a few of those, peasant accuracy isn't the best, so maybe they went over the top a little bit. In the distance, mounted yeomen are being taken down here, doing some pretty decent damage to them. Archers are counter-skirmishing as well, so this is buying valuable time for these peasants to do some decent work, and the skirmish corps struggling to find a home at the moment, but the front lines are nearly engaged, and this is where stuff is going to get very dicey for both factions. One unit of Marauders is taking a ton of burst fire down from those archers, and it looks like the men-at-arms are going to fall back a little bit here. Some of them are engaging. Okay, I thought maybe the cav was going to swoop in as the front line did indeed pull back, but men-at-arms are going to intercept these Marauders. Paladin has now been surrounded. Charm Shield is popped, giving him that damage resistance, but he is well and truly stuck in there, both of them now, by these pesky familiar warriors, as well as Frog, and they're not going to have a good time, although it looks like a Soulblight is also being popped as well on all these Questing Knights, and this is a dangerous situation for both of those characters. Defenders are going to charge into the front line, running down Marauders, but they were already broken, and now Berserkers are going to get a counter charge off as well. The Archer Corps is completely fine in the back line. However, Marauder Horsemen are lurking, which is forcing Talcor to commit some forces to protecting this back force as well. But apart from that, it's going okay. Question Knights are now engaged with Mist Stalkers. They want to pull out as quickly as possible, although they are doing some nice damage on those Marauders. It looks like the defenders did manage to escape. The Paladins are well and truly stuck in there. They simply could not force their way free. It looks like Question Knights did try to rally to their aid, but both units are broken and routed here, and this is a huge loss. If they are shattered, so there's no chance that the Fae can heal them up, they're going to be in big, big trouble. It looks like they may be able to escape here. So of course when you're just routing it, will find the best avenue to escape automatically. So it looks like this one at least should be able to break free. But if Valkanos is on the ball here, what he's going to do is take some horsemen and go into attack mode and just chase this guy off the field. More archer fire is starting to swing in, but the men-at-arms really starting to struggle as Berserkers are racking up the kills now. Knights in the distance as well, starting to tangle with Familiar Warriors with great weapons once more. Kind of want to dart out of here as quickly as possible. You can see those mighty cleaving strikes from the Familiar Warriors, dragging down some of these glorious Knights into the mud. And Frog himself is still very healthy, but so is the Archer Corps for the forces of Bretonnia. Looks like Mounted Yeomen have been forced off the field, so the mobility game now may be in favour of the Norscans. These guys need to hustle quickly, get into the back line and stop these peasant bowmen from firing, as they're doing huge damage so far. The Enchantress is starting to tangle a little bit here with the Familiar Warren. Let's see, did that Paladin rally? Now, it looks like he's been fully chased off the field, and more Quest Knights are starting to rally in the distance. However, some lucky few Berserkers, looks like just 25 of these lads, are charging forward. Axes! What is this animation? Like, axes just waving them in either hand. Are going to jump on top of the peasant bowmen, at least going to shut them down for the time. More archers are being crumped now as well by Marauder Horsemen, who are darting in the back lines. And we do have a big Soul Blight coming down once more, and that Fae has been pinned in. Frog not happy with her at all. He's going to be clobbering her down. He's screaming in her face for now, and it looks like it is going to be a game to the Norscans. A very hotly contested affair, though. I think losing those Paladins early on, getting them pinned in like that, was pretty big. And it looks like the Fae is in fact terrified now, although some Knights do rally to her cause. The Crescent Knights in a lance formation come slamming into Frog, but, you know, sometimes the glorious Knights don't always get the victory. This is no love story. Fae Enchantress is being pinned in as well by Mist Stalkers, unable to escape. She is getting clobbered to death. Even some of the more Berserkers are getting in a few hits. And oh, we're into black screen there, but it looks like that was a game. That was a really weird ending there. I don't know if one of the guys like quit out or something. But a valiant defeat indeed to Talcor. Decent game by him all round. And but unfortunately for him, yeah, getting those Paladins stuck was pretty bad for him. Peasant Archers still got some okay value. Did some pretty decent damage, you know, up in the 6,000s, 4,000s and the like. But unfortunately for them, it was kind of more on the cheaper shielded units all round. And yeah, the Quest Knights kind of really failed to get back any value, not being able to find a good home. As Falconos though, you can see Frog getting over 5,000 damage is pretty impressive stuff. And the Berserkers along the line. I take back what I said. They did fantastic here. You can see like the minimum damage one of them did was 3,500, others 4,000. Not the most value back on them, but they cleared through that line quick enough that he could put pressure on the archers. There wasn't enough troops to protect him from the mighty Marauder Horsemasters and the like. So very well played to these two champs. That is going to be a 2-0 to Talcor. GG, well played. Great games. Hope to see you back soon. Talcor. Let's update the scoreboard quickly. And if you are watching Krablin, you are up next if you'd like to join the party as soon as Talcor does leave. There we go, 2-0. Then we'll get the finals started. Of course, finals is indeed best of 5. Yeah, Seafang got a bit of a nerf. I haven't tested it out though to see like how much it is so far. But yes. Good luck in the finals. Awesome stuff. Good play by Talcor all round. So let's invite Krablin back in here. and we'll get the best of 5 finals underway. Of course, one of this guys will be going into the season grand finals alongside the mighty Dacta as well as Prussian Prince. So if Valkanos can scrape through here, then of course it will be two RTK members in the finals already. Hey, hey. Maps are Altdorf Outskirts, Crack, Kargan, Pine Ridge, and some song, and the Switch. Cool. Some of these maps I haven't tried out before, but they're all on the kind of multiplayer maps, competitive maps spreadsheet that someone made. I'm not sure who it was. I think maybe Falcon or Wicked D or someone. They kind of went through the maps and said, yeah, these ones are good for tournaments, these ones aren't. So we've just picked a couple from there. Also going Altdorf Outskirts though, which is, you know, considered a pretty good one all round. So, yep, let them know the maps. And it looks like Krablin is going to be going for Chaos. Cool, cool. Let me quickly pop into Discord, make sure we've got no problems. Nope, looks like we're all good. Here's Banning Wood Elves and Lizardmen. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing a bit of an echo. It's just like appeared in my ear, so I hope my microphone's okay. And you guys aren't hearing that? Yes, Chaos. Getting more Chaos in here indeed. Just had a quick battle. Grumpy got killed by a cycle charge and Lion Chariots, and Larry gave the final blow. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. It's still going to be tough, the Chariots. It is nicer now, but it's still going to be very tough. Yeah, high elf, like, single entity spam is pretty disgusting stuff around. I think things like dragons will be a lot more sketch now, because they'll get pinned in a little more, and they're even more squishy than they were before. They do a bit more damage, though, which is always good to see. Cool, cool. Let's let these guys sort out what they're going to do. And have I changed the scoreboard? No, I have not. Perfect. Good for how I looked. So, well played to Talcaller. I hope we'll see him back soon. Had some really interesting builds and a fantastic run in the tournament all round. But it is Krablin's time to shine. So let's pop Krablin in there. And let's edit the scoreboard back to 0-0. So there we go. Good stuff. And it looks like Vampires, I believe, for Valkanos most likely, although he's currently stuck on greenskins. Yeah, Krablin Band, Wood Elves, and Lizardmen. So we'll see. It's either greenskins or Vampires, who knows. Krablin in my skin. I don't get the reference, I'm afraid. Sound is good indeed. Okay, it's just my side. That's fine. I don't. If I can hear myself like, it's not twice. I can like hear another version of myself really distant. It's weird. But yeah, as long as you guys can't hear that, that's fine. Yeah, high elves are not gonna like the patch. Yeah, they're still gonna be very good against dwarfs, but because chariots can still push through them quite easily. But yeah, overall, high elf fans, I'm afraid this patch is not being kind to you. So, Chaos versus Vampires, an interesting game for sure. Chaos can bring a lot of heavily armoured tools, and of course Vampires can bring an huge amounts of AP, but Vampire Pirates in general did get quite substantial nerfs across the board to the majority of their forces. So all gunnery mobs, bombers, all that type of stuff have been given, I think, a bit more HP per model, but have had their units shrunk from 120 down to about 90, which is actually a lot of their damage output you know, taken away from them all round. So they should still be good roadblocks, but they're not going to be able to pack quite so much of a punch, which is certainly something I think most players were looking forward to. Luther Harkin as well himself has been debuffed. His range, his ammunition's dropped quite considerably, and I think he does less damage and all sorts of stuff. Sorry, I don't know Linkin Park, no. I was quite late into getting into music, and then when I did, I'm a massive hip-hop head, I'm afraid, so if you're not into that, I probably won't know much other stuff. Obviously, I've heard of Linkin Park, but... The chariot nerf, Kelgar Iron Fist, is just the fact that people have more mass now, so it's harder to cycle charge people to death. And I did some tests, and yes, you can still cycle charge dwarves to death, like if they're in a thin line and stuff. But if you like if you can pin in a chariot in the center of like a wave of Dowie, it really struggles to pull through. So there's some pretty nasty stuff you can do in return, but you know, people will still not be super happy and stuff, which is understandable. But you can't please everyone, I'm afraid. Good luck, have fun. Looks like the boys are ready, so let's get this best of 5 finals underway. Who is your money on? Are you rooting for the legendary VMs, Krablin, or the Valkanos of Art? Oh god, I've forgotten his clan tag. Round Table Knights, yeah, RTK, there we go, perfect. Yeah, no, they still wreck, like, Darren stuff. No jokes, no worries, Sansplay. Like, yeah, exactly. Chariots still need to be infantry. I think the main thing that's going to help out Sergeant Spaghetti in the Dowie chariot matchups is going to be characters, honestly. But it's still not perfect, of course. But anyway, in come Krablin's mighty forces, and once again we have a huge skirmish corps from the forces of the Chaos, which is pretty good, with a ton of Mordor Horse Masters dotted all the way along the lines, mixed in with some Chaos Warhounds for a bit of protection, which is always useful to roll these guys with the Horse Masters. If need be, they can sacrifice their lives, poison the enemy down, and slow them down all round. We do have the Mirror Guard as well in the central pocket, and it looks like it's going to be a Chaos Spawn Rush inspired build. And oh, this is glorious stuff by Krablin here. We have Forsaken in the front line, the Demon Spew, regular Forsaken, and a ton of Angry Chaos Spawn. I'm a huge fan of this build. This is some rock and roll stuff for sure. We do also have Archeon the Ever Chosen on his mighty steed. I believe he did get a few changes, but nothing too crazy. Coming with the Slayer King, Stand or Die, Foe Seeker, Burning Head, Cascade and Firecloak, and Fireball. Looks like that's pretty much going to sum up his build. Doesn't look like we have any other characters, no Exalted Hero or anything along those lines. So pretty cool stuff, looking to just swarm the enemy as fast as possible. Now for the forces of Valkanos here and the Vam Pirates, we do indeed have zombie pirate deck cam mobs dotted all the way along. And in the central position we are going to have some hand gunners dotted all the way along, mixed in with halberds as well, so it's going to be quite a layered formation, which is good to see. Apart from that, we have a ton of scurvy dogs dotted around the map and some deck droppers, and the reason you see so much skirmish cav from the forces of Chaos is deck droppers will single-handedly beat Chaos pretty much if you don't have the skirmish potential to force them out, force them off the field. We do have Mongols as well, hiding in the trees over here, and another unit hiding in the trees here. More Scurry Dogs, as well as a couple of units of Bombers, who no doubt will be going more in a central position in just a second. All the way over on this left-hand side, we do indeed have a Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires, Raise Dead and Invocation of Nahek, the two most competitive spells. And then up in the skies, we have the mighty Luther Harkon, nerfed, but still unscathed. He can still be very powerful indeed. I still think he's going to be one of the best lords in the game. Comes in with Horn Swaggle, has his Death Shriek, and yeah, as you guys can see, his ammunition has dropped, I think, from 50 all the way down to 30, which is quite a nice change all around. And yeah, should be some good stuff. It's going to be a pretty wild game all round. Forsaken's certainly going to chew through that front line very, very quickly. Fortunately, if Raptor is still here, we do not have any pole arms, a fan favourite of his, but they have been buffed pole arms, so maybe we get to see them a bit more in the future. Looks like they're ready. Good luck, have fun, guys. Let's have a quick sip of a drink, just to keep my voice all good. Awesome stuff. So, here we go. The forces, of course, far in a numerical advantage here to the vampires, as to be expected with all their cheaper chaff. And it looks like Valkanos is ready as well. This is going to be a wild game for sure, probably a very quick one. It's going to be can Krablin push through and break into that back line. Now, Chaos Spawn, of course, don't have much armor, but I mean, the armor piercing kind of negates a lot of that anyway, and they're very fast, and they have, of course, Unbreakable, so they're a pretty good tool to push into that back line, but will take a lot of damage to firepower if it does indeed come to it. I wonder how Bombers do up against Chaos Spawn, if they do a decent amount of work. I know they are anti-infantry inspired instead, but because of that lack of armor, they might do some pretty good work. It looks like the force is simply going to rotate for now, ready to face Krablin. It'll be interesting to see how well Burning Head does. Now, that does do less damage, I believe, but still, it's a relatively spread out formation from the undead, so he won't be able to catch too many units. But then we come up with the first burning head, catching Valkanos there unawares. And the bombers are going to take a considerable amount of damage. I think that was an overcharged one, but still, taking the bombers down rather nicely to about a third health there. Could force out an early invocation, but they are getting picked upon as well by the Horse Masters, really trying to punch these guys and finish them off before they can get healed. They are, of course, crumbling at the moment as well. And what's that coming over the hill? It is a ton of angry Chaos Boys. Going to be charging into this front line. Should be able to chew for it very, very quickly. Let's catch the charge of the Forsaken here into the undead hordes, and they are going to be ripping rotten flesh from the bone here deadly quickly. These guys are, yeah, already racking up 30 kills in, like, what, 2 seconds? Pretty crazy stuff. Regard charging in as well, and just the forces of Krablin starting to spew into all of the back line, which is always good to see. Bombers are being shut down over on this flank completely. Luther Harkin is just floating up in the skies. We do have some Scurvy Dog pressure coming in as well, putting some pretty good work on these Horse Masters, forcing them wide. What these guys need to do now is turn around and all charge these Scurvy Dogs instantly. Just break them and crumble them really very quickly. You don't need to outrun them. Another Burning Head is coming down the line, getting some insane value, catching 2 units of handgunners as well as a unit of halberdiers. That is some scary, scary stuff from that Fire Castle, or Archaon I should say. Already up to 182 kills, but he is now getting annihilated. A glorious summon by Valkanos here with the Pirate Gunnery mob is doing huge work to Archaon. Of course, he doesn't have a way of regenerating health here, but Mirror Guard have pushed in now after breaking through the front line, and the Chaos really starting to get into that juicy back line. Luther Harkin, though, is still incredibly healthy and tracking Archaon, getting those decent shots in. I mean, still 30 ammunition is quite a lot anyway. Handgunners now raining fire into the Chaos spawn, who are going toe-to-toe at the moment against the Mongols. Halberdiers as well, or polearms I should say, going to be pushing up as well to try and help out, but the Mongols may indeed crumble before they can get there to their rescue. Decent pressure coming in by Krablin's Skirmish Corps once more. Archaon, getting a little bit low of health here, is going to try and shut down some more of the handgunners, but once again we see another summon who can turn and engage, but it looks like Krablin is on top of this and is immediately going to dance through the trees and start pulling himself away to relative safety. Up in the skies, Deck Droppers only on 18 kills, but been doing some good consistent damage. With a Hornswaggle on Archaon lowering his speed and armor, he's in real trouble now as bullets come at him from all angles. Looks like the Horse Masters desperately dancing their way over here as quickly as possible in order to try and shut down all these units and assist. A Shriek does come down on the Forsaken, doing some okay work. The Mirror Guard are now pushing in on top of this summon, going to start chewing their way through them very quickly. And yeah, these guys up to 44 kills, pretty much full health as well. Coming into the late game is going to be some scary stuff. Mongols as well are being just javelined and axed to death by the Horse Masters at the moment, but Luther Harkin is full health as well. In the distance, we do have some Scurvy Dogs who need to come back to the main engagements, as they'll be pretty good at trying to shut down and harass the Horse Masters in general. We do have yet another summon of the Pirate Gunnery mobs, lacing a few more shots into the Horse Masters, and the Forces of Chaos looking a little bit thin now in the infantry fight. A lot of the Forsaken have, killed a lot of troops, but also gone down just a consistent firepower. We still have 1 unit here and a very healthy Mirror Guard, though, which is, of course, going to cause big problems. But Luther Harkin is on the case, jumping in there, and going to quite happily pick apart these units, as Archaon currently can't get close to him. He's having to fall back and kind of hide because he's scared of the ranged pressure that can come in. But now a lot of the handgunners have been cleared up. He certainly can come back to the fray. This summon over on the left-hand side, though, is lacing shots on down the flank of these Forsaken, doing some good work. Horse Masters, though, are pushing up quite nicely now, and all of those javelins are being thrown up into the sky onto the Deck Droppers for now. Definitely need to save a few of them for Luther, though, in the late game. Chaos Spawn, 1 unit still fighting, up to 97 kills. Although it looks like 1 did just get slain there by the mighty Vampire Fleet Captain. If they can drag her down, that's really going to help out, as there'll be no more healing. But this is an incredibly close game right here. You can see some Scurvy Dogs jumping on top of the Forsaken as well. Going to be chewing those guys down as they do run for the hills. They're tired, they're routing. It's not a good day for them at all. Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs as well, still going to be unleashing some shots in, doing some pretty okay damage. What's the sound? Oh, I'm trying to see if I can hear the sound. Hopefully you guys can still hear the sound. It sounds really quiet on my end. Not sure why something's been going on with my headphones, perhaps. Right, Luther Harkin taking a ton of missile pressure now from those ground troops. Horsemasters still have okay amounts of ammunition left as well. So I think this game is going pretty heavily Chaos favoured at the moment. You are going to see a desperate invocation of heck coming down on him to try and keep him alive and healthy. But you can see all the gunning mobs who are being summoned constantly getting destroyed by the Mirror Guard for now. It looks like those deck droppers as well are going to be going down. And all these javelins are now focusing them down. Finishing them off is going to leave Luther Harkin isolated and alone, really not where he wants to be. So can see some fireballs coming in by Archeon as well. Looks like it clobbers a deck dropper in the face. And those guys are going to be disappearing, but they did manage to get through most of their ammunition. There's one Valiant Chaos Spawn left standing on 22 hit points. And yeah, he's going to be clubbering a few more of these guys as he does go down there into the dirt. And this summon is once again going to be shooting into the Horsemen. So we just have the characters of the Vampires left standing, which is often the case. But as you can see, Horsemasters, good diligent play once again by Krablin, as we've seen all tournament, is going to come over here and shut down the Scurvy Dogs, break them, and yeah, force them off the field, and simply close the distance with the Mirror Guard onto that Vampire Fleet Captain, and then allow the Skirmish Cav as well to deal with Luther, while this summon does indeed disappear. Good summons though all game by Valkanos doing some pretty good work. Fireball does come in, just clipping at the Vampire Fleet Captain. A Shriek does come down by Archeon, it does dart wide there. And again, all these javelins come up to Luther, and he's doing his best Matrix impression as well, but there's just so much firepower coming in. It's not hard to dodge, but he's running very low on ammunition here. Perhaps Luther can carry into the late game. Trying to isolate these Mirror Guard now. It's a good time to do it, as he might be able to save his Vampire Fleet Captain, and it is allowing the gunnery mob as well to still get some pretty decent damage. But in comes the Slayer of Kings, and that is going to turn Archeon into an absolute world beater, pinning in Luther here and doing some massive damage to him there. And you can see, yeah, Archeon still the better duelist at the end of the day. The OG, the true student of Chaos there, does bring down Luther, and that is going to be a fantastically well fought game to Krablin. Good stuff indeed. Yay, Raptor, you're still here, enjoying the pole arm changes. It will make them a lot better, I think. Yeah, could you guys hear the in-game sound? I can hear it, but it's like so distant. I think that it's just my headphones kind of died a little bit, because that probably makes sense for my voice a bit lower. But anyway, Krablin's Archeon, 18,000 damage, 2,660 value. Broke those lines with the Burn Head, still a fantastic tool here. And it's interesting with the Forsakens. They're obviously not going to get anywhere near their value back, but they do get a ton of damage and break through that front line very quickly, which then allows him to shut down the gunners, who of course are going to be the main pressuring tool. Overall though, the Skirmish Core kind of was the real key to this build. It's always good to see Wars of Chaos played in a skirmish kind of essence, because you don't get to see it terribly often, apart from in certain matchups. As for Valkanos, of course, Luther Harkin did a decent job, and he managed to protect his backline relatively well. Well, it got over him quite quickly, but good summon play by Valkanos kind of dragged him back into the game and made it an incredibly close encounter indeed. So, GG. The next map is going to be, if I can find it, hopefully. Oh, I think it's called The Crack of Karkin. Oh god, I don't know if this is going to be a good map, but we're doing it because it's on the list, so. The Crack of Karkin up next. So it looks like a snow map with trees, and the trees are dominating large portions of the battlefield, but there is still a massive open plain in the centre, so hopefully the map won't be too bad. Chaos comes! Chaos have performed very well so far. Get up, Mule. You hear the in-game sound well, perfect. I don't mind if I can't hear it properly, as long as you guys are still all good. But yeah, but nowadays there is too much single entity carrying for being a Total War Saga style. So yeah, they're kind of like, they've sorted it out relatively well. Kind of making it a bit more balanced, because you still want the big monsters to have impact and to do damage. But I think maybe nerfing healing might have been a better way. I don't know, but some of the single entity kind of spam was a little bit atrocious. Feel bad, no one playing High Elves. I think Valkanos can play High Elves pretty well. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure of all of Krablin's main picks. I know he loves his Chaos, and of course we've seen him play Wood Elves, but I don't think either of these guys are kind of High Elf mains, really. Valkanos is going Norska, banning Vampirates and Greenskin, so Valkanos certainly a big fan of the evil factions all around. Oh, let me change the scoreboard as well while I do think about it. So that first game was to the mighty Krablin. Up to 1 there. Good stuff. Let's grab a quick little drink here. So good. Yeah, I think we've been running for under 2 hours so far, so we've gone through the games pretty quickly. All the competitors have been like on time and stuff, which I really appreciate it. It's a massive help. The actual tournament had to start way later than usual, which was going to be a big worry for me because I'm going to be kind of going into the middle of the night if the tournament kind of went on as long as normal. But everyone kind of went through their games very quickly and was really professional about it, which I really appreciate. So massive shout out to all the players who played today. Some real true champs. It's good to see new faces as well every tournament, as well as kind of old and familiar faces coming back, as well as some of these veterans. It's really cool to look back at the like original Death Before Dishonours. We're on season 6 now, and I know our seasons go pretty rapid fire because it's only 5 streams per season. But looking back, and when I first started doing tournaments, and I was worried about getting 4 people in to do a qualifier. Now we're getting 30 odd people kind of applying for each tournament, which is really good fun. Really good fun. It really makes my job a bit easier and a bit harder as well, of course, organising more people, but that's a welcome kind of like challenge more than everything. Olcav for the win. See, a man of culture, I see, Viking. A man of culture. Rohan, the greatest Lord of the Rings faction, and it cannot be debated. King Theoden is my favourite character. He's so cool. He's got one of the best redemption arcs, particularly in the books. He's great in the films. Bernard Hill is an amazing actor. He's what made me want to study acting, actually, was his performance as King Theoden. It's like I saw that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to college and do acting. It was great. But yeah, in the books, he's even more of like a redeeming arc. He's like a huge badass in the final battle. He charges ahead of like the rest of the forces of Rohan. And reading Tolkien's work is quite, not tricky, but he uses a lot of like description, which is great, because I tend to do that as well. But he's like, oh, the horse was going so fast, and like the sun shines off his shield, and the hooves of the horse were setting the field ablaze. And obviously, really, he's not setting the field ablaze, but it's more kind of like imagination, or like figuratively, I suppose. But yeah, he gives his whole badass speech, charges in gloriously, charges up against the there's like a big cavalry force which arrives with the elephants as well, led by the Haradrim, I think what it's called, and he like sees their lord like holding their banner, and he like charges head up to him. And his like bodyguards are struggling to keep up, and Theoden's just like darting around the battlefield. I think he's described like a thunderbolt, and he like cuts down the leader of their force and like drags down their banner and all this stuff. It's so awesome. Oh, Lord of the Rings Saga would be good. I think it would be kind of tough. I'll debate it. Dwarves of Erebor. Okay, the dwarves are cool. Okay, the dwarves are very cool, but Lord of the Rings Saga. The problem with it is slightly less diverse than the Warhammer world. I'm not saying like the lore-wise, whatever, Lord of the Rings is fantastic. It's like the staple of fantasy, right? And you can see Total War's taking influence from that, but also tons of other elements as well, and kind of combine them all together. So I feel like Lord of the Rings would have to be done very well, because it's going to be slightly less diverse than something like Warhammer, I think. I would like to see them attempt a 40k version of the game as well, which I know people have had their doubts about, but people have their doubts about Warhammer Fantasy being pulled off. So the team over at CA, they've been doing this for years. They're very good at it. So I think it is something they'd be able to pull off. The plays like Warhammer 3, but a specific setting and with heroes like Legolas, yeah. So I guess your heroes would be, you'd have your named heroes, like Legolas could lead the force of the elves. But again, what age would you set it in? There's so many different ages. You'd probably do it roughly in the books, I suppose. Most likely. But I would be so predictable in a Lord of the Rings game. Like, every time you face my ladder, I'm bringing full cav Theoden build. That's the problem. Looks like Krablin is ready, saying good luck to his opponent here. Total War Age of Sigmar. Apparently Age of Sigmar, the actual game, is very well done. It's kind of streamlined, and it's got a lot more popular from its very controversial change, but lore-wise, even if like someone told me it's the pinnacle of writing, you should go check it out. It's my childhood, man. Is Warhammer Fantasy, and it kind of got ripped away. So I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, mate, Gimli. Gimli's such a lad. Gimli's so cool. He has some real great moments. Like certainty of death, zero chance of success. What are we waiting for? He's just such a good character to have in the Fellowship. Here we go. Let's have another little drink quick. The real question, if they did do a Lord of the Rings one, could they get the actors to come back to do the voice acting? Like, imagine if you're controlling Boromir and it's Sean Bean's voice just, like, charging into battle. And here we go. So, for the forces of Krablin here, we are going to see a wild Durfu pick, which I absolutely love. Durfu now does have Vanguard. I actually had a fantastic game earlier with a full tree Vanguard, which is possible now. But we're going to see Durfu here. He's a very potent and deadly, kind of Sword of Dave. The Lamination Despair, which is normally an item I'd take off, but we'll have to see how it performs. The debuffed transformation of Kadon, so it now costs 18 Winds of Magic, which is very expensive, but still you get a Manticore, so pretty powerful, and a Flock of Doom. For the main battle line, we are going to see a ton of Eternal Guard, including the Regiment of Renowned version. The Winterheart Guard, of course, are indeed unbreakable, and look pretty badass. I don't know if it's just that I don't know if they changed colour schemes on a few units, or if I've just been really blind before and not, I suppose, zoomed in on such units. We do have Deepwood Scouts as well, scattered along the front line. Unfortunately, no Swift Shiver Shards, which are one of my personal favourites, but still a load of the basic ones dotted along the front line. Once again, we are going to see the Lost Silver Knights. And in matchups where people struggle to bring magic damage, these guys are so good. So, of course, 0 armour, but Silver Shield, as well as a glorious 75% physical resistance and terror causing unit. They are pretty potent and deadly. We also have a Waste Stalker, which is an interesting pick up against Norska, but maybe just to snipe out enemy casters and the like. Now for the forces of Norska, we have a ton of Marauders dotted all over the place. Actually just ample Marauders, as well as some Marauder champions as well, with a bit more meat to the grinder. We do have Berserkers and Icehorn Marauders as well in the third battle line. These guys looking as ferocious as always, and we've certainly seen that Valkynos can play Norscan to a very high degree. We do have double Skin Wolves, which are going to be the armoured variety, which means they're going to lack a tiny bit of speed, but at the same time, they'll be gaining a little bit more armour. And again, have these guys been changed? I don't know. I feel like they had little hat fins before, but who knows. We do have the Beast of Tashnar as well, Regiment of Renowned Norscan Warhounds with anti-large. And we also, in the central pocket, we have some Leadership Corps, as well as Fimir Warriors, so no Miststalkers here. We do have Wulfric the Wanderer on horseback, coming with his nerfed boat, as well as a Shaman Sorcerer of Death with Spirit Leech, and a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire with Fireball and Flaming Sword of Ruin. Now, that Flaming Sword could be pivotal here in helping to take down Durfu, but also giving that magic damage to really hurt the Silver Knights, and that's something which really can punish them. Yeah, they dance in here, thinking, oh, nothing's going to hurt me, they get surrounded, they can't pull out, and then all of a sudden, magic damage appears out of nowhere, and they get absolutely destroyed with their 0 armour. So we can see some early shots are coming in. Looks like they're focusing down at the Fimir Warriors where possible, as well as the Marauders. Doing some pretty nice burst damage straight off the rip here. We also do see a Spirit Leech come down on the Lost Silver Knights, and I don't believe there's any healing in this high elf build. He didn't bring a Branch Wraith or any of that stuff. So that damage killed one model and lost a considerable amount of health there as well. Pretty scary stuff. A unit of Wild Riders, which I think I missed earlier, is slamming in on this left-hand flank to the Marauders. And that's something Krablin's been very good at this whole tournament, as well as his cycle charging has been pretty on point all round. Deepwood Scouts are now focused firing down at the Berserkers, which is always a really good idea. Those guys, of course, do not have shields. And the Lost Silver Knights are going to flee for the hills at this moment. Of course, Fimir Warriors do come in and try to put pressure on the enemy. These guys come in with magic damage and armor sundering. The armor sundering, of course, won't help, but that magic damage will do some pretty good work. Durfu is popping forward as well, holding back the tide of Norscan. This is some real kind of masterclass here so far by Krablin. Pushing through Durfu, knowing the enemy have kept their Skin Wolves and stuff further back to escape bowfire, and then simply falling back. He's just buying more and more time for these Deepwood Scouts to unleash arrows, and he's going to fall back as well once more. You can see the Eternal Guard waiting in the wings, and he's using the cavalry to hammer home as he falls back, doing more and more damage. Over on this flank, we can see another glorious charge from these knights do come in, flooring some of the Marauders to the ground, although champions are now coming up to engage and say a little bit of a hello to those guys to try and drag them down. Beasts of Tashnar are on the hunt for that Wild Rider booty now, doing some pretty decent damage and hunting them down, although we do have an extended Flock of Doom and Sword of Death being popped here, which is really going to allow these Wild Riders to just delete the Beasts of Tashnar very, very quickly, and these Marauders not going to have a fun time at all. Some Skinwolves did pop into the back lines, but have been terrified away by the might of Durthu. Seafang does come down, doing some good damage to the Winterheart Guard as well. Icehorn Marauders, though, have managed to surround the Winterheart Guard, and yeah, the Winterheart Guard are unbreakable, but they're not going to be having too fun of a day. You can see the Lost Silver Knights down to below half health at this point, as the Skinwolves do push through, and there's a lovely overload on this left-hand flank from the forces of Norska, although it looks like the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire is done for at this point, getting forced wide by those Deepwood Scouts. And the main problem is going to be this titanic force here in the centre, the mighty Durthu, who's just vibing at the moment in the middle of the forest. Domination of Despair does come in, does some okay burst damage from all the Berserkers, I suppose, but the Wild Riders have overstayed their welcome a little bit and need to fall back and cycle charge once more. We are also going to be seeing a summon come down, a lovely Manticore summon, to help push the balance power in favour of the Wood Elves. But in the distance, Lost Silver Knights are going down here, unfortunately for them, down to just below 900 health at this point, as another Spirit Leech does come in, and the Skinwolves go toe-to-toe with them. But isolated in this kind of pocket, Lost Silver Knights will do very good up against the Skinwolves, but in comes Wulfric and those Familiar Warriors. Yeah, these guys are pretty much done for, but they are buying time for the Deepwood Scouts to shoot in, doing some pretty decent damage and terrifying away those poor Skin Wolves. Manticore Summon is coming in, probably going to try and isolate Wulfric where possible, who has fled to the forest here. What a tightly contested game. Winterheart Guard going down here, but it looks like Wild Riders making some fantastic value, chasing down all these routing troops. The Beasts of Tashnar, if they get a good charge on these Wild Riders, could beat them back. And we have a load of Norscan forces who are a little bit idle here, need to come back to the main fray and put pressure on these Deepwood Scouts. If they can attack them from behind, this game could very much still be in the hands of Norska. Deepwood Scouts still have decent ammunition, so they certainly need to go down, as a lot of these forces are going to be needed to help bring down the mighty Durthu indeed. Skinwolves are healing up though, still 11 models on them as well, which is good to see. And we still have the Shaman Sorcerer of Death, who's just going to be dropping Spirit Leech after Spirit Leech onto Durthu, no doubt. Although that Fire Sorcerer, who would be pretty useful here as well, to give fire damage to the Skinwolves and the like, aren't here, so Durthu is going to be pretty tough. Now, the added mobility that the Skinwolves do bring, now that a lot of the Wood Elf cavalry is dealt with, is going to be used to hunt down the Deepwood Scouts. Glorious play by Valganos here, really good stuff all round, as the Eternal Guard are slowly getting ground parts by Icehorn Marauders, Berserkers, and the like. Familiar Warriors have started to go toe-to-toe with Durthu, but I think it's a little bit early. You don't want to go up against them on their own. They kind of really need the support, so probably want to fall back and wait till the rest of the army is ready to really engage with Durthu. Boat does come down, looks like it's going to run over some of the Deepwood Scouts as well, but it does a considerable amount less damage now, and the Icehorn Marauders are actually really starting to struggle here, as the balance power goes quite heavily in the Wood Elf favour, mainly due to how healthy Durthu still is, which is some pretty scary stuff for sure. He's still rocking over 6,800 health. In the distance, Wulfric is cleaning up the Deepwood Scouts, but it's a hard task to do alone, and in come the Wild Riders as well, running over the Icehorn Marauders, and going to come in and surround Wulfric, which is going to allow the Deepwood Scouts to retreat. Well, it looks like they're pretty much out of ammunition, but if we look across the battlefield, I think Durthu's just going to be a bit too strong here. Very closely contested game all round. But the Familiar Warriors pretty low health. Wulfric as well doesn't really want to duel Durthu one-on-one, and I've only seen one Sword of Death so far, so perhaps Durthu has that in his back pocket, but a lovely surround on the Wild Riders is going to drag these guys down and finish them off most likely, although the Familiar Warriors are getting very low health-wise and nearly breaking as it is. But yeah, they managed to crumple those Wild Riders, break them down, and finish them off. But Skinwolves have started to rout at the same time. Wulfric desperately trying to keep this force together where possible. Deepwood Scouts have used up all their ammunition, which seem like a good thing for Norska now, but it means they've got a lot of value if they've used up all their arrows, which is pretty scary stuff. Beasts of Tashnar have now hopped back onto the Deepwood Scouts, should be able to chew through them with relative ease. Elves aren't the worst in combat though, so they certainly can still go toe-to-toe, and Durthu has arrived as well to kind of put the nail in the coffin. Marauder Champions still fighting strong here, up to 95 kills. Very impressive stuff, dragging down the last of the Eternal Guard and putting pressure on this way Stalker. Shaman Sorcerer of Death is still alive and kicking as well, just kind of floating around on the flank. But Wulfric, how's he doing? He's over here trying his best to rally the Familiar Warriors where possible with the help of the Skinned Wolves, but Tunnel Guard are here going to be poking at those spears into those werewolves, dragging them down slowly over time, pinning Wulfric as well, and you're now in Durfu territory now, boys. You're in the woods, not where you want to be at all. Boat does come down, does some okay damage. You see a few of those elves getting flung to the ground, one of which was indeed cut in half, and Bloodstain is kind of all that's left of him for the most part. But yeah, Durfu does force army losses there. He's just too tanky at the end. But yes. That was some pretty crazy stuff indeed. Krablin going to take the advantage up into a 2-0. 13,000 damage on Durfu is pretty impressive. But as you can see, the Great Stag Knights did 8,000 damage, 8,800 in fact, but only managed to recruit back 929 gold, and they're worth 2,000 gold. But still at the same time, they had their usefulness of breaking that formation, terrifying a lot of units off, and absorbing a lot of damage as well. So still a good inclusion here for sure. Wild Riders, though, did the old school chaps pull this one out the bag quite nicely. And as you see across the board, Deepwood Scouts did fantastic damage on key targets. I do love the inclusion of the champions here and the like. Some of the Skin Wolves performed well, some of them didn't, unfortunately, got put into bad situations. But yeah, overall, good display by both these lads. Unfortunately, the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire apparently got no damage, but I thought we saw a burning head, but perhaps I'm mistaken there. So, GG. It's a best of 5. Just to let Krablin know, because I think this is the first time Krablin's at least got this far in one of my tournaments. So Alpine Ridge will be up next, and Alpine Ridge next. Awesome stuff. Let's update the scoreboard. So Krablin is taking an early lead. I feel bad for Valkyrie. He got to the final last time, so hopefully Valkynos can fight back here as well and have a good shot of breaking his way into the finals. Of course, guys, this is the third qualifier, so there is still another one after this, and then we will be moving on to the grand finals. Hopefully, this is all going to happen relatively quickly. The next Deathfall Dishonour, I'll probably set up tomorrow, will be for next week, and then the finals will hopefully be the week after, but of course, it depends on the schedule of our champions. Krablin is going Skaven, banning High Elves and Tomb Kings, so sorry, I can't remember who it was, but someone wanted to see High Elves, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen, unfortunately, today, unless the game does go on. Yeah, exactly, that's what I mean. The Stags, they absorb so much damage. He didn't use all of the Winds of Magic, but he used a decent amount with the Spirit Leeches and stuff. Durfu's would awaken. It did indeed. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about, the meta now. This happens every single time a DLC gets announced. No one knows how to deal with any of the new stuff. No one knows how to use all the new stuff properly. So give it a couple of weeks and then the meta will settle down. There's no way really yet of knowing, oh, this matchup's now really good, or this matchup's really bad. It's going to take a little while, because the meta will take a while to adapt and shift to these new changes. Happens every time. I remember, last time a DLC came out. Not last time, but, the Nakai one, whatever that one was, when that came out, people thought, I remember in some of the early access that Nakai was going to be really powerful, and box scores and stuff going to be really useful, and they weren't, basically, at least not for a long time. Box scores do kind of have a place now a little bit more. It looks like Valkynos may be going to his undead favourites here, which is of course his main faction. I don't think he's played them yet. I can't remember what the first matchup was now. Yeah, DLC lets you play the faction. They'll still be in the game if you don't have the DLCs, you just can't play them. So, what I would do, I'd buy the base game of Warhammer 2, and then that'll give you 4 factions. It'll give you Dark Elves, Lizardmen, Skaven, and High Elves. You won't get all their rosters because they've had DLCs since then, but there's a ton of free content you can get as well. And then, have a go with that, fill it out a little bit, and then slowly get the DLCs you want to expand your roster. I'd recommend getting Total Warhammer 1, because that'll give you 4 new factions in one go. Greenskins, Empire, Dwarfs, and Counts, and, build from there. There's a few free factions as well, and all that good stuff. Did Jarnorsk go free, or were they just free at the time or something? I can't remember. But yeah, you can face the AI with, no DLC. Krablin OP, for sure. Krablin is a scary, scary player. So is Valkynos, though. Yeah, the Stags are very good. but at the same time, like, if he got them pinned in, and he simply, like, don't use Spirit, you don't need to use Spirit Leech on them. If you pin in the stags, drop a Flaming Sword of Ruin, they're dead. Like, they have 0 armor. They're going to get absolutely slaughtered by pretty much anything. So I think every effect things that give you magic damage, what's going to be their kind of downfall. So we're certainly going to see that a bit more often. In certain matchups, though, it'll be a bit tougher. I think Sons of Goros are going to be like a must-pick for Beastmen, pretty much, in that matchup now. Or you get the Eye of Morslib, and obviously he nets them, throws a couple of rocks their way, and they're toast. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's early days, that's what I'm talking about, but against some factions, yeah, I can see them being OP. Against other factions, I can see them being weak. It just depends, but that's the same, for most things. Wait, did I update the scoreboard? Let's have a quick look. I did indeed. Let's pop back and I'll get cracking. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Could indeed be the final game. So if you want to do me a big favour, feel free to hit that big old thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. We do all Total War Warhammer content, so feel free to subscribe for that. And a final plug, if you guys do want to support the channel in any other way, fuel my hot chocolate addiction, there are links down below to Patreon and all that kind of stuff. But as well, there's links to my Discord, so you guys can hop in, get involved in tournaments like this, meet players, and just have a general cool vibe. And, come up with a cool duck name for the chat as well. Anyway, let's hop in here and see what Krablin has brought to try and seal the deal. Coming in with Skaven Slaves, Clan of Vulcan Tail Slashers, dotted all the way along the front line. Pretty similar stuff to what we saw before, although we do have the Council Guard, one of the greatest units that the Skaven can now bring. Certainly one of their most elite, but it's very useful having an unbreakable unit, especially one which can actually pack a bit of a punch in a faction such as Skaven. Looks like we have a pretty disgusting Death Blob form in here, however. We have the Thin Thing. Once again, the Hellpit Abomination Regiment round we saw earlier works in the same way as a Hellpit, but does come in with the Fluid Injection, making it Rampage, but making it an absolute wrecking ball. We also have a double Plague Priest, which is one Plague Priest and one Grey Seer of Ruin. So, of course, coming in all the summons on the left one, Plague Monks and basic Rats. On the right-hand side, we also have Warpstone Scrolls, Hallan Warp Gale, Warp Lightning, Dreaded 13th Spell, all that kind of crazy stuff, as well as a Chieftain, so one of the new free heroes you can get. Looks pretty cool around. I actually really like his banner on his back. He comes in with Guardian, giving that 15% physical resistance to both of those characters there, and we also have Shield of Distraction, -5 melee attack, so yeah, he's pretty scary stuff here for sure. We also have the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep once more, so looks like Krablin is a big fan of these guys. Maybe I kind of overlooked them a little bit in my testings with some of the early access stuff, but they performed pretty well, I think, in this previous game. We'll have to see how they do perform here, and they probably work in a good grindy game. Now, for the forces of the Council, I'm no doubt we'll try to box them back, coming in with some Fellbats for harass up in the skies, as well as a ton of zombies in the front line. As I said earlier, it's not a Vampire Counts build unless you have some of these glorious guys lumbering around, absorbing damage, and just, taking a pounding for the Counts. We do have a Graveguard as well in a central force, as well as some Crypt Horrors as well. We're looking to saturate on top of this front line and really pack a wallop. We also have the Crypt Ghouls. That seems to be one of Valkanos' staples in his build, and it's good to see these little guys in action. Don't actually get to see them terribly often, but I don't really play Vampire Counts, so maybe I've just missed them here and there. We also have some Black Knights as well, dotted in the back lines, mixed in with the Blood Knights as well for a bit more punch. And these guys can certainly do some decent work. They're a little bit cheaper, but still can bring a pretty big wallop on the charge. A decent charge bonus of 26, nothing crazy compared to the 78 of the Blood Knights, but these guys can still get in there and do some decent work. For a Lord, we do have Heinrich Kemmler as well, of course, coming in with that Krell summon, and if we can pop on top of him, Invocation Heck, Raise Dead, Wind of Death. Ooh, this could be tasty. So Wind of Death is a very expensive, very powerful spell, a bit like a Burning Head. It kind of comes down in a line. On a Death blob like this, it could get insane value. We also have some White Kings on foot as well, but he may struggle to take down so many large entities. But yeah, if he can catch a Deathwind down the line on like the Council Guard and maybe one or two other units, that is going to be some disgusting stuff. But we are going to blob off. Skaven taking the high ground, of course. They're a bit faster than the undead forces, so it makes sense to make Obi-Wan proud, hop on top of that high ground, and have a good time. Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers are here with their Beric Dondarrion-esque swords, going to be cleaving through zombies, but they are zombies, they're there to die, that's what they're there for. Both these monstrous constructions are going to be darting in as well. You can see those zombies die so disgustingly quickly, as they do indeed get absolutely wrecked here. I really want to kind of pay attention to see if there's a Wind of Death. Like, dropping it down here would be so nice, but there's a bit of a wind-up time, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Blood Knights are going straight down the gullet here, really trying to charge into that front line and pressure the Grey Seer. They have been caught and kind of blobbed up on a lot of their own troops as well. We also have a Storm Vermin Halberd summon coming down with a dreaded 13th spell, and the Blood Knights taking huge damage. We do have the Pit Fighters in here as well, doing some decent work. Do have a lovely breath attack coming down the side as well there, or tear attack, sorry, doing pretty decent damage in the air. Zombies getting cleaved up pretty bad. Those Blood Knights take massive burst damage there all round. The Halberd, the dreaded 13th summon on them, so much burst damage in there. That's basically a dead unit of Blood Knights, which is some scary stuff. Unfortunately for Valkanos, the Felbats aren't going to have too much of a good job. They can chase down routing troops, but again, it's Skaven Slaves. It's not going to really be getting much of value. And the Wall of Death has emerged in the front lines, with the Counts seeming to take the worst of the beating so far. But we haven't seen a Wind of Death just yet. Countguard still holding that central pocket. It looks like they're going to be used alongside the Rat Ogres to countercharge wherever the Black Knights do indeed emerge, trying to push in there and hammer down these guys, which they'll do a good job of. Black Knights aren't Blood Knights. They're going to take a bit of a pounding up against these kind of level of troops. A lot of the Skaven forces are running for the hills, though, including some of the Rat Ogres are being forced back at this point, but there's so many scary stuff like full health yet alive for the force of Skaven, but Cripples have managed to collapse this right-hand side a little bit. Looks like the Rat Ogres as well, isolated, will start to struggle. And I think this is it, guys. I think this is the big Wind of Death. Let's see if Krablin does indeed notice. And down the line it comes. Doing not as much damage as I thought. Maybe it wasn't overcast. Did some pretty good damage to the Council Guard there and the Clan Rats, but nothing to write home about too much. Nothing too crazy. It looks like we do have another Storm Vermin summon coming down as well. And yeah, those Sternsmen just taking an absolute pounding right now. And with good use of spells, this is looking quite rough for the undead early on, in my opinion. Felbats did get hit by a Warpstone Scroll as well. They're going to be used to try and chase off some of these routing troops. Looks like Rat Ogres have raided as well. Black Knights need to get over and support. And the Cryptoids have managed to push through though, doing some pretty decent damage as well, trying to surround some of these large targets. White Kings as well, as the more designed to take on infantry, but they can still pack a punch and do okay damage to the big ones as well. One White King does get sent flying down the hill as he looks up. He's probably not going to be a happy bunny, realises he's going to have to charge uphill into all of this gruesomeness, as the Hell Pit does jump around and target Heinrich Kemmler here, doing some pretty decent damage, as that summon of Storm Vermin has come in to do some pretty decent play. Looks like more Rat Ogres are starting to run for the hills. Pitch Fighters the Hells deep. Be interesting to see how well they're doing as well. Plague Priest up to 67 kills, and Gracie up to 208 kills. Crazy stuff so far. In the distance, Black Knights are going to be turning about face as well to come charging in once more, but what can men do up against such reckless rats? Harry, pretty decent amount of damage as the Plague Priest as well as the Grey Seer have started to take considerable damage here to those pesky White Kings. And when a lot of the summons do start to disappear, perhaps there is some fight left in this for the Counts. Now, has Krell been summoned? He has indeed. He's taken a bit of damage as well. He really needs to get his value on the big target. But very wisely, it looks like Krablin is going to fall back away from Krell. Just let that summon burn out. Pop over here and help out your buddies instead. And you see the Pit Fighters here have indeed gone up a tier as well to the Berserk mode for 30 seconds, gaining that 22% physical resistance and 13 melee attack. Turns them into pretty big world beaters, helping them hammer down those Black Knights. Rat Ogres as well have escaped here. Looks like they're just going to take a breather for a second. And it looks like it is going to be a pretty decisive 3-0 to the mighty Krablin. Very well played to Valkanos though, his second final in a row. I feel really bad there. Getting very close though to it once again. Put on a good display. 3-0 is pretty harsh, but that final battle was a really good display by Krablin. And have a look here, 29,000 damage by that mighty Grey Seer. And we've got some pretty good damage across the board, 14,000 as well by the Plague Priest. It is some scary stuff. Now, how did the Hell Pit Fighters do? 6,000 damage, but and just under 800 gold value, still pretty much full health. They performed pretty well. I think they did pretty good in that matchup all round, but some really clutch summons coming in. The Storm Vermin with the dreaded 13th spell and the like with that Grey Seer was pretty awesome. It did some massive damage and neutered the effectiveness of the Blood Knights, who only got 42 gold back. That's some scary stuff indeed, but still good play. White Kings trying to hold firm with Heinrich Kemmler at the death there as well. Good luck next time. GG. Thanks. No worries, man. GG. Well played, dude. 2 finals in a row. Cool. I'll message Krablin afterwards just to let him know that that is booked him his place in the grand finals. So I've got the Krablin curse now. Yeah, he keeps getting to those finals, but getting dragged down, unfortunately. But Prussian Prince, I hope you're watching, because Krablin is going to be coming for you in the finals. So far we have Dacta, Prussian Prince, and Krablin all making it to the grand finals. Now, who is going to take that last spot? It could be you. If you want to play in these type of tournaments, feel free to join my Discord. There is a link down below. Announcement will most likely be made tomorrow, and the tournament will probably be held next Wednesday or Thursday. And on that day, we'll have another stream, and it should be some good fun. So, guys, hope you did enjoy. If you did, let me know, and I'll do more of this content in the future. I'll hang around now just for a few seconds if you guys have any last-ditch questions, and I'll update the scoreboard quickly. So let's switch this over to a glorious 3. So well played to Krablin, true champ of the people, bringing a lot of the new factions as well, playing some interesting styles of play, and even coming in with a glorious Doom box at the death there. But looks like we don't have too many questions. So let's hop out quickly, make sure the stream strength is all good and everything, and I'll finish updating challenge as well in just a second. And make sure we've got no questions as well from any of the competitors on Discord. But nope, looks like we are all strong. Thanks for the tourney. No worry, Valkanos. Well played, dude. Very well played, man. And I feel so bad. I was telling guys earlier, like, you've got to 2 finals, which is very awesome stuff, but couldn't quite pull it out of the bag there in the death. But yeah, Krablin is a scary foe indeed. Should have taken Vlad. He is a decent in this matchup. Now, yeah, I could see Vlad being very deadly here as well. Yeah, that was nasty. That was a very, very nasty build. But of course, going for the money there, wanting to finish off this finals as quickly as he could. But no worries, I'll see you guys next time, of course. There will be more attempts as well. I'm sure we'll see Valkanos back soon. But yeah, guys, well played to all our competitors today. Special shout out to all the semi-finalists as well, and the legendary Krablin for booking his slot. Until next time, guys, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.